What's up, everybody? Global Karen here. I am back with another Schaffrillas production video on every Disney animated movie rank. I did not know he about to do a whole Disney movie. I was like, I hope he do a whole Disney movie ranking because I watched. I ain't watched every Disney movie. I watched like the ones that I grew up with and everything. But I hope y'all enjoy this video. I know people. I know like one person wanted me to react to this, and I said I want to react to this as well. And I'm going to do it. So I hope y'all enjoy this reaction video, and go to Schaffrillas Productions channel as well. I got a original video and first then watch my Twitch channel. Go to Global Camera. Completed every single Spider-Man game. Not every Spider-Man game. It's just completed Marvel Spider-Man. So I hope y'all go check. I glad he did around Christmas too. There's some movies I ain't seen in a very long time. I'm interested what's his worst movie and what's the best movie he got. This is his ranking. So everybody's ranking is gonna be kind of different. Yeah. I love Lilo Stitch. I ain't seen Lilo Stitch in a fucking long time. I've seen a couple of these movies currently. Wait, no sound? Huh. Wait, maybe go check right quick. It should be sound, but I see right now. See right quick. I don't really don't know what's going on. Cause I still have kind of problems with this. Cause usually when I record, it just works, but something wrong with the audio. It must be the echo cancellation.
By the entire Disney company. The main animation studio didn't make the direct-to-DVD sequels, nor the Pixar movies, nor any Disney Channel original movies. None of that. Do not leave me a comment saying I forgot to rank
finally fixed
movie. If I see any of you chuckle fucks in the comments saying, you forgot a Goofy movie, or something like that, I will not be a happy camper. I did not forget anything. Any movie that isn't on the list of Walt Disney Animation Studios films Wikipedia.
But thank you for telling me that, because I never knew.
Was not made by Walt Disney Animation Studios, and I did not forget it on this list. But if you're curious, I would rank it at 15th place.
Number 15.
Anyway, this will be a long one, so
A
grab
very long one.
Get comfortable and enjoy as I take you through the sometimes magical, sometimes shitty, wonderful.
I never knew me and him was the same age. I could looked him up. He's the same age as me. 61 movies.
And the single worst Disney movie of all time is... Say it. Dinosaur. I'm sorry, but this is one of those movies where I just...
I ain't seen Dinosaurs in a long time. I get why he hates it, because of the animation, because of the CGI of these dinosaurs that are really bad.
Legitimately cannot understand how anyone likes it outside of nostalgia.
Yeah, it's just a nostalgia movie. That's all it is.
They always say something like, I adored it growing up, or I've always loved this movie and always will. Like, would anyone think that way if they didn't grow up with this? I'm not saying it's devoid of
If people seen this current day, people would hate this movie.
The opening 7-minute sequence with no dialogue is really strong, and some of the photorealistic backgrounds look very nice.
The movie, it's worse.
Do you seriously consider Alador to be one of the best Disney protagonists? Do you consider Kron, whose name I had to Google, to be one of the best Disney villains? Do you think this story is one of the most compelling tales ever told by Walt Disney Animation Studios? They're just walking! It's just dinosaurs walking to a place for 80 minutes. All as the most cliche characters ever go through the most cliche dialogue and arcs ever.
Because this movie is based on when the dinosaurs had died.
This animation was state of the art when it came out, but God, nowadays this
it came out in the 2000s. 2000s, and it was a lot better movies than this movie.
A lot of the environments just look like complete shit. It's so boring. There's nothing interesting to look at. There's no interesting characters. There's no interesting story. How do you make a film about dinosaurs? One of the objectively coolest things to ever exist. This dull and monotonous. I can't even really say that I hate this movie, because that implies that I have any passionate feelings about it at all. And I just don't. It means nothing to me. And I can at least say that I have feelings about any other Disney movie. So I guess that means I gotta rank them higher than something that makes me feel completely empty throughout the majority of its runtime. But you know what? I am nothing if not tolerant to other people's opinions. I don't care.
Because some people would not put this as their worst movie. People will put Home on the Range as their worst movie ever. It's supposed to be adaptation of Moses and the... Oh, okay.
Disagree with me about a piece of media. I once saw someone rank Majora's Mask as the worst Zelda game of all time, and my only response was, that's a bit silly. So you know what? If you want to go ahead and write your own video essay on why Dinosaur is an underrated masterpiece, and if you send it to me and I think it's well made enough, I'll go ahead and
I would not say it's underrated. It's not that good. I would say I like bad movies, but I would never tell people, yeah, it's a bad movie, but I still like it. I still would say it's still a bad movie.
Especially not mine. It's good to get get
You can
his
like bad
perspectives on
movies.
Now,
No one
I
not gonna
love
be
you for
mad at
some
you for it.
non-nostalgia-related reasons why people think Dinosaur is good. Like, I'm actually genuinely curious, so please enlighten me. And until you do, I'm gonna go back to not thinking about this movie at all, because it is one of the biggest empty voids of a film I have ever
I
seen.
forgot about
At least
dinosaurs in a
James
long
Newton Howard
time.
brought his A game, but it wasn't enough to save this travesty.
Up next,
60.
Chicken Little.
Oh my god.
I'm gonna keep this brief, because I really do want to make a full-on cinematic disaster review of this movie. And I know I say
Is
that
he
I'm gonna
putting
do a
Chicken
full
Little
review on
next?
a lot of movies, only to end up procrastinating and never getting to them. But there are
Listen, I grew up with Chicken Little, but I always will tell people this movie's trash. If he said Dinosaur wasn't the worst, Chicken Little would have been worse. People would say Chicken Little and Home on the Range are way worse Disney movies ever. Chicken Little is up there because like it's so bad. Because like it's not Chicken Little's fault. The main character is that the rest of the characters in his own movie are just so hated, especially his father. I hate his father, but fuck that guy. That's all I have to say.
very few movies I feel as
Yeah,
passionate
animation
about
is not
as
that
Chicken
good.
Little. This movie is just so awful that it's kind of remarkable. Like, this would have been
I get the
second
story
or
of Chicken Little,
worst movie
but
in
I just
my
hate the other
elimination
characters.
ranking. It's that hilariously pathetic. Nothing about it works.
I still haven't seen
Sometimes
Eliminations
there's
one
a
yet.
rare funny joke or the occasional epic as shit character like Porcupine, who's probably the greatest.
Look at the animation of these characters. It's
The film
not
is
that
just
good.
So morally and creatively bankrupt on every level. Every character is a horrible, unlikable prick, except for the main characters who are just fodder for cheap, quote-unquote jokes. Ha ha, the pig is fat. Let's all laugh at him for being fat. Ha ha, the duckling is ugly. It's funny how ugly she is. Isn't it funny? My favorite part is when stupid-ass Buck Cup
Yes.
basically says, "Gee, son, I never realized that emotionally distancing myself from you when you needed me the most was a bad thing. Sorry, ooh-woo."
That's dead parenting, and I should know.
I love how they try to make that a joke. Seriously, why is this movie so damn mean? I know. I don't know what. I don't know what they were doing. I think they want to make I think they try to make Chicken Little really sympathetic, even though he's already sympathetic, because everybody do not like him. But his father has to be maybe the worst father figure in the history of Disney movies.
How are you this dead?
I love how they try to make a joke about bad parenting, and he should know. Yeah, you are a terrible father, Buck, and everybody knows it.
And awful. Like, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to realize that siding with the people who are publicly humiliating your son is a bad thing.
Yes.
Also, I hope you like pop songs, because there sure are a lot of those in
Oh,
this
yeah.
movie. Most of them with no rhyme or reason, even though the movie thinks they're a good substitute for jokes. When Chicken Little tells the pig, "We will survive," he then starts singing, "I will survive." That's funny! That's such a funny joke! I hate this stupid-ass movie. Every time I watch it, I'm just baffled at how
Yeah.
badly it turned out. That's part of the reason why I want to do a full
Oh,
review on it.
me, I will just watch it once and just leave it at that.
Because the story of its
That's how bad this movie
production
was.
is just so sad. Almost as sad as the movie, but not quite. Stupid-ass movie that feels like it came from the studio that made Norm of the North. Not this one that made actual masterpieces in the past. Anyway, I can't wait to talk
I just don't
about
know
these
what they would think
masterpieces,
about
but
Chicken
first
Little.
we gotta trudge through more shit. So
Yeah.
let's get moving.
If it's not fun,
59.
why bother?
Okay, so for those of you who don't know, in the 40s, because of World War II, Disney didn't have enough money to make full-fledged animated movies with one continuous story.
Every old movie I haven't seen, maybe Snow White, I seen Cinderella, I seen Pinocchio, but the rest of them I haven't seen. And somehow Chicken Little got 2 video games, and the second was actually good. Really? I know Chicken Little had a video game. I never knew it had a second one.
They made a bunch of package films.
I think they were
essentially
PlayStation 2
consisted of a
games.
collection of shorts that have nothing to do with each other, getting slapped together and shoved in theaters. It was a valid practice to help them stay afloat during this time period and raise enough money for the narrative features that they actually wanted to make. These package films, though, are pretty infamous for being not good. I watched them and, yep, the worst one of these is fun and fancy-free.
Never seen it.
So bad in so many ways that it's kind of ridiculous. First of all, there's only 2 stories being told, and the first one is absolutely awful. Half the movie dedicated to the boring as shit tale of Bongo the Bear. It's like Bambi if it were shitty, and it made me wish I was watching fucking Brother Bear instead. We're just following this stupid-ass circus bear as he escapes and starts living in the woods, and then there's a lady bear, and they're in love. But oh no, now there's a big bear you have to fight. And there's also a song about how you should slap your significant other in order to express how much you love them. I wish I was making this up. I fucking hate this short so much. Oh, sorry. Did I say short? How silly of me. This banal and agonizing fucking tale takes up 40 minutes.
40
I could
minutes?
Live with this shit
what?
If it was condensed into 10 minutes. But really?
That's not really a short. It's like a 30-minute TV show.
I hope Bongo dies a slow and agonizing death. I never want to see him again. The next story of Mickey and the Beanstalk is kind of okay, not particularly interesting, but not the worst. However, it simply wouldn't be good enough for Jiminy Cricket, the character who led us into the first story, to do the same with the second. No siree! Instead, we have to go to this pathetic birthday party with 2 annoying as shit ventriloquist dummies who make dumbass, unfunny remarks throughout the entirety of the Mickey story. It just put me in a bad fucking mood, and I couldn't enjoy anything that was happening. Not even the funny meme scene where Mickey cuts the super thin bread. This was truly agonizing, and you should never watch it ever. It's so bad. Next!
58.
Pocahontas is so bad. Like, it genuinely
Oh boy. Let's get to Pocahontas. So, let's get to Pocahontas right quick. Everybody hates Pocahontas, the actual movie Pocahontas, because, like, I don't know, obviously, the Mickey story would be good without the puppets, yeah. I never seen that short, so I can't really say much about it. It looks like it's bad, but let's get to Pocahontas. So I've seen Pocahontas like multiple times. I've seen it at school because I don't know why school always shows you this movie Pocahontas. I don't get it, even though a lot of people did not like this movie. It's because like you took the real life version of the actual person of Pocahontas and you try to change everything about her. Well, Disney's been doing this for years. How they took the books, because the books were really dark, but try to change it to kids' movies. Because let's be honest, these are not their movies. These are not their movies. Because they just got it from the books and they just remade it to themselves. For kids. And to me, I didn't really hate Pocahontas much. I get why people hate it because it's not that good of a movie.
So much worse on rewatch for me. I cannot.
Because this movie's about Pocahontas. Her father wanted her to have an arranged marriage with this guy who's not even a bad person per se. Then you got this other dude from the UK people, because they are from the UK, because they from Great Britain. She likes him. The other two fought and everything else. Yeah, I think that's the reason why people hate Pocahontas. It's the inaccuracy of this movie. You can't kindly actually history. Yeah, I think that's why, because how they actually did the inaccuracies of the movie. Because I think Pocahontas in real life was an actual kid, like a adult. I get it, but it's like I think a lot of people didn't like that. And he took the history of Pocahontas, he just messed everything up. I think Pocahontas had a second movie, if I don't remember. Because when I was a kid, it looked like I remember they had a second movie of Pocahontas, and that one was bad.
And dull this movie
Oh, it's
Legitimately,
just
the
can't
only
remember.
things going for it are the animation and the music.
Yeah,
And
the animation's good. I didn't hate the animation. The animation was beautiful.
and there's an asterisk on both of those points. The colors and environments are pretty, but the character design is just so awful. It's insanely stiff and lifeless. No one is allowed to have any expression except for, like, this one dog. It's so weird. The orchestral score and Colors of the Wind are both gorgeous, but pretty much every other song is bland and forgettable. I at least get a little bit of ironic enjoyment out of Mine, 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 even though it sucks. And meanwhile, I think I changed my mind about Savages. It's kinda bad, actually. Fantastic visuals, and I like Pocahontas' part at the end. But the lyrics are still laughably awful, and the whole premise is broken. I don't think I need to get into the historical issues with this film, and how offensive and obnoxious it is to imply that both sides were equally terrible, only to then show us, hey wait, all the white guys who were so gung-ho about killing Native Americans throughout the entire movie are actually pretty chill and don't want to kill them anymore.
Yeah, that's the reason. That's what's the problem with this movie. I think it was that problem. They tried to say both sides were bad, but the white people didn't want the fight. It was just the Native Americans were being assholes. But in actuality, as you go to the actual history, it was them that were being assholes, and they just went after the Native Americans.
The problem was just this one bad apple white dude. Get rid of him, and it's a happy ending. I mean, sure, I guess you could believe that if you never picked up a history book.
Yeah.
Actually, history books don't even accurately tell what happened. Bottom line is, this movie was an awful idea that should have never been made. Not only is it offensive, but it's agonizingly dull. Pocahontas and
It was really offensive to how the actual story of Pocahontas even happened.
Are so boring, and you never get invested in their romance. There's a death scene that's supposed to be
What the
dramatic,
hell
but
is
it
this?
involves a character who only has like 3 lines of dialogue in the whole film.
That's
it's
true.
the guy Pocahontas' father wants her to marry, but she doesn't want to marry him because he's too serious. That's it.
I want
That's the
how
only
all
reason
this.
given. In fact, he's so serious that he doesn't even talk for most of the movie. Wow, how riveting. I'm so
I know,
invested.
I hate the spam
he
bots.
died. Oh well. The villain sucks so bad. He's such a joke. Oh my god. His only motivation is gold.
Yeah, he is. Let's be honest. You had to go to every single villain in this franchise. Let's get to every single villain in this in the Disney ones. Who is the worst? He might be the worst. I don't know if he's the worst villain in Disney, but he's up there because his whole motivation is gold. That's all it is.
Wow, how riveting. I'm so invested. He barely has a relationship with John Smith, and he never even meets Pocahontas. Why the fuck should I care about him when he has practically no connection to the main characters? Everything sucks. The stuff that isn't offensive has been done already in other Disney movies before or since. Legitimately,
I hate these
all you
spam
need to
bots,
do
so
to
it's
see
just
everything about this
hid the
movie
whole
is
thing.
Just watch Colors of the Wind. That's it. Before I wrap up, I just really want to express to you all why this movie was like this. Why was it so self-serious and devoid of humor, or good expressive character design, or talking animals? Why was Pocahontas aged up from her real-life counterpart and set up in this melodramatic romance with John Smith? I'll tell you why. Because after Beauty and the Beast was unexpectedly nominated for Best Picture, Jeffrey Katzenberg wanted to repeat that success with another epic romance story that he also get nominated for Best Picture. Yes, you heard me right.
Wait, so because Beauty and the Beast was successful, and I love Beauty and the Beast, he tried to do it with Pocahontas, but the problem was people can actually read a history book and be like, wait a minute, that's not even how Pocahontas is. So yeah, this movie's not good.
Right. Pocahontas is so dull and boring and melodramatic because it is the first, and as far as I know, only Disney animated film that was explicitly designed to be Oscar bait. Surprise, surprise, it didn't work.
Yeah.
The movie won a couple Oscars for its music, but whoop-de-fucking-do. Alan Menken makes great music, what a shock. But ultimately, this insipid pipe dream from the most egotistical executive in Disney history to get a Best Picture nomination for a ridiculous, offensive, inaccurate, boring, predictable, tasteless, borderline unwatchable snooze fest of a feature film ended in catastrophic failure. but at least it had pretty fucking colors, I guess.
The internet is not
57.
nearly as impressive as how Sonic described it.
Bet you weren't expecting this one to be so high.
I said, yes, put this movie in here. Listen, I didn't watch this movie, but I heard how really bad this movie is, and I do not like this movie. I say if I watch it, the first Wreck-It Ralph, and then watch this movie, I would hate this movie. 'Cause I heard how they did Ralph as a character. I'm like, really? Y'all really did Ralph like this? Everybody made Ralph a character that's, I forgot what you call characters like that who don't want the other characters to leave him.
Insane, fascinating faults. The one thing that Ralph Breaks the Internet is boring. When I watch this movie, I'm always in awe of just how awful they managed to make it on so many levels. Like, it would be one thing if this was just a cringeworthy dystopian.
Yeah, it really did botch both main characters. You botched Vanellope, then you botched fucking Ralph. Ralph, a character that a lot of people like, then you made Ralph this character. Like, come on.
With a ton of
bullshit.
brands all over the place that implies to children that making a ton of money on the internet copying shitty viral videos is easy. And you
Then they put the internet in here. They were really milking the internet and everything else. Milking their own Disney thing. You know how, like, Space Jam did with HBO? Yeah, this is what Wreck-It Ralph did in its own movie.
But then the movie decides that's not enough, and that it should assassinate both Ralph and Vanellope's characters,
Yes.
making them both horribly unlikable and having them perform actions that directly contradict the first film without a second thought. It's rare to get something that both fails as a movie and fails as a sequel.
They couldn't come up with anything for. They should have come up with something for Vanellope and Ralph as characters to do, but they couldn't come up with nothing. So they could come up with the worst way possible to make both characters unlikable. That's not a good thing. You should not make this second movie.
Completely different.
The first movie was
But
fine.
I
It was
got
good.
Disney
Don't make the
sure
second one.
managed to do it. Believe it or not, I could go on about this piece of shit, in spite of the fact that I already made a full analysis video about it. and
Because
talked
it was
about
a piece of
some more in
shit.
the Disney 2010s ranking for good measure. But since we still have like 50 more Disney
Yeah.
movies to go, I'll wrap this part up and direct you to those other videos if you want my extended thoughts. Bottom line is, this is a movie so fundamentally flawed at its core that I'm shocked it was even made. And yet, it still somehow manages to be the best Pocahontas movie the studio has put out. Because while both of them are terrible, at least this one isn't boring. Plus, I think it has Spampton in it or something, I forget.
56.
Time.
Melody time! I'm
What?
gonna be honest, I forgot everything that happened in this package film as soon as it was over. At least nothing overstayed its welcome, like the bongo short, but at least I remember how much I despise that thing. Everything in this short is just straight up boring. There were a
I
few moments in the
never
Cowboy
heard this
short, and
movie.
I kinda like the B short, but nothing else really stuck with me.
So this was another short movie.
Tugboat short was really lame. There's a weird out of nowhere Three Caballeros callback with a live action woman, because apparently there wasn't enough of those than Three Caballeros. And also, Johnny Appleseed is a punk ass bitch. I could probably beat him up if I wanted to. I don't know why that's relevant. I just have nothing else to say about the shorts collection. Just an incredibly unmemorable and tedious time had by all. I'm pooped.
Now you will
55.
see the sand
That was
combs
fast.
that prevent your approach to Ganon.
The Black Cauldron is
I heard of the Black Cauldron. I never seen the movie, but I heard that people did not like this movie.
Disney movies of all time. Its critical and box office failure almost tanks the entire studio back when
Wait, a budget of $44 million, but it earned 21.3. Wow, this movie was really bad.
it first came
In
out. And it's been looked at as the
1985.
black sheep by many Disney fans ever since. One of the funniest things about this movie is that it came out in theaters in 1985, but it was such a commercial failure that Disney didn't even release it on VHS until 1997.
Wow.
That's embarrassing.
Yeah, that's really bad. So the movie came out in 1985, but they waited almost to 1998. Wow. Dang, that's really bad.
But
This
it's
movie
also
had to be
received a bit
really
of a
bad
cult
for that to
following.
happen.
A ton of people really like it. I'm not one of those people. I'm sorry, but I really couldn't stand this one. It is so boring and lifeless in nearly every regard, except the animation. I really like the gothic aesthetic they went for here, and there's a few fun elements, like these three witches were kind of neat. The bard guy wasn't too bad. I don't know, that's all I got. The main character in this is insufferable. He's always going on and on about how he's gonna be this great hero, despite the fact that he never really accomplishes much over the course of the film. The princess, who's just kind of boring, there's not really a ton to say or enjoy about her, even calls him out for this at one point, saying how his magic sword really did most of the work for them. And he's like, well,
Let's see,
actually...
the cut 12 minutes of darker material, but it contains important stuff that caused some story confused. Yeah.
Takes a brilliant hero to wield this sword, and you're a girl, so you don't even know anything about swords. He's so likable, guys. Isn't he such an awesome protagonist? Seriously, he never does anything to earn the status of being a hero. He doesn't even really defeat the villain, which, oh my god, don't even get me started on. You guys actually like the Horned King? I thought it was a joke, because that's what the Horned King is. Aesthetically,
No one don't even know who the Horned King is, so it looks like, yeah.
awesome. But then he starts talking, and he's the most boring, generic jackass you could possibly throw into a fantasy movie. Ooh, I can't wait till my army of the dead is raised by the Black Cauldron. Oh no, I stood too close to the cauldron while it's sucking stuff in, and that's the way I get defeated. The main character kicked me once, and that's what caused me to stand too close to the cauldron. You've killed me.
Good.
Have I mentioned
Really?
yet that this movie is basically a feature-length version of the Zelda CDI cutscenes, except played completely straight and not funny? Have I mentioned yet that the MacGuffin in this movie is a pig that can see the future? That's a fun idea that the movie does nothing with. The Horned King wants to use the pig in order to see where the Black Cauldron is, and 20 minutes into the movie, he has the pig and the main character captured. But then the main character splashes some hot water in his face and manages to run out of the room that has 1 million of the Horny King's troops in it. How did he manage to get away so easily? And now that I know he can get away easily from the Horned King in the first 20 minutes of the movie, how am I supposed to be intimidated by this villain for the rest of the movie? Friendly writing tip, guys, maybe build up a confrontation between the main character and the villain more. Maybe
Yeah.
don't have it be the first conflict he has to face, and don't make it extremely easy for him to get out of it, because then your movie has no tension for the rest of the runtime, now that we know that the Horned King is a fucking moron. He doesn't even kill the main characters at the end. He just leaves them in a room with the Black Cauldron unattended, and then they easily fuck up his plan. Oh yeah, and that pig that was so important in the first half of the movie? Yeah, they forget that was a thing too. The Horned King doesn't need it. He just follows the main party, and then they find the cauldron, and then he gets it from them. So all the buildup about the pig was completely pointless. Okay. Who the fuck wrote this movie? I haven't even gotten to the comic relief, who is neither comic nor a relief to see. This annoying little shit only exists to be annoying and a little shit. He has the most irritating voice, and he accomplishes nothing throughout the movie until the end.
I wish I can hear his
have this
voice.
dramatic sacrifice. And I'll give the movie this: it was the only time I felt any joy watching it. I cheered when that little cum stain fell into the cauldron and died, and I audibly groaned when the movie brought him back again, because of course it
That
did.
he
Nothing
re-hated this
matters.
character.
This movie fucking sucks. I'm sorry. I guess it was slightly better than Tales from Earthsea, probably because it was about half an hour shorter. But is that really the bar we want to be striving for? Is not the most boring animated fantasy movie I've seen that much of an accomplishment? At least it probably scared the shit out of little kids. Movies should do that more often.
Look out, world!
54.
Here comes the last dragon!
Raya and the last stupid ass, annoying as fuck piece of shit dragon.
I never seen this movie, but I heard that most people did not like this movie.
I ranted about this movie at length earlier this year, mainly focusing on how legitimately awful its message about blind trust is, so I won't reiterate any of that here. I'll mainly focus on the other things that make it bad, like Sisu. Bro thinks she genie, LMAO. Sisu just gets more and more annoying the more times I rewatch this movie. It's impressive that they managed to pair such an annoying performer with such annoying writing, resulting in a truly agonizing side character that drags the movie down so heavily. And then there's the constant anachronistic quips Raya and Namari exchange that feel like they're out of a C-tier Marvel movie. Like, holy shit, it's legitimately unbearable.
Hey there, Princess Undercuts. I knew you couldn't handle rolling solo. You're nothing without your band. What can I say? Bling is my thing.
Shut up! Shut up! Shut up! Shut up!
The plot is also stretched so thin, and it's incredibly clear that this story really should have been a miniseries rather than a 2-hour film. It never feels like we spend enough time in any of the new locations.
Let's see, the visuals is beautiful, but the story and the message wise is so broken.
Any of the new characters that join the journey. And I like the side characters. The shrimp boy and the big tough guy are really fun, and even the con baby's okay. I wish we got to develop them more, but instead they just feel like part of a checklist for the plot. Like, okay, we have acquired a character from each of these regions in order to bring them all together in the climax. Huzzah! It hardly ever feels earned when these characters join the quest, because we need to zoom on to the next location already so the plot can keep moving. These structural issues, on top of the legitimately harmful message about trust this movie portrays, which again, you can hear more about in my other video, make it so this movie legitimately has some of the worst writing out of any Disney film. I don't even know what happened here. Like, did no one notice how much this script fundamentally did not work on so many levels? I don't know, man. Ultimately, though, it is at least a very well-directed movie. The action is pretty strong, and the animation is gorgeous. Plus, I do mostly really like the side characters, like I said. And James Newton Howard once again proves why he's one of the best composers to ever work with Disney. It has some good elements, and as botched as its message was, it obviously had good intentions. It's not a horrendous movie, but it is a pretty bad one. Anyway, let's all go back to forgetting this movie exists now. That's the fate it truly deserves.
But then they find out that
53.
the farm is being closed down.
I would like to formally apologize for implying that Home on the Range was not as bad as I expected in my previous Disney ranking. I think my brain was pulling a prank on me that day, because this movie fucking sucks. It has some
I'm surprised it's not that low. I think it's one saving it. It's a little bit of the animation. I ain't seen Home on the Range in years since I wasn't like first, second grade. That's how long I haven't seen Home on the Range.
Like, the animation is fine. I still think the horse is kind of funny, and I like his arc. Plus, the villain is genuinely kind of good, and I enjoy his villain song. I wish he was in a better movie. This movie sucks so much ass. Roseanne Cow and her two other cow friends walk around for a while they're searching for this bandit dude, and it's astounding how genuinely and thoroughly unfunny it is. There were so many moments where I legitimately had to ask, was that an attempt at a joke? I really couldn't tell. I guess it was kind of funny how bad the movie was, but it's not a hilariously bad time like Chicken Little. It's just something that you want to be over.
Some people would actually put Home on the Range, Chicken Little, and Dinosaur the worst movies in Disney, but he had other movies that were way worse than Home on the Range.
The vast majority of its runtime. I don't even.
It sucks that this is Disney's only Western. I think that's what happened because this was their first Western movie, and they saw how bad this movie was, and like, we're not doing no more Western movies.
I don't know what else to say about it. I guess I'm sorry to all the Bolt and Brother Bear fans that I previously declared that this movie was better than those two. Woo! I'm so glad that now that I said that, there's no way fans of Bolt or Brother Bear will get mad at me for anything I say later in the video. Anyway, yeah, back to Home on the Range. It sucks. It's fake. The end.
Please welcome
52.
Cinderella.
I don't really like Cinderella stories that much. Out of all the commonly adapted fairy tales, I just find this one to be the most played out and boring. The only time I liked a Cinderella adaptation was that one Fruits Basket episode. Everything else can go home, I don't give a shit. I mean, there's probably other good Cinderella movies out there. I haven't seen them all, so I can't really say. All I know is...
Because you had to really think about it. Do all the princesses in Disney, who has the least... Who is the worst Disney princess in Disney? He picked Cinderella.
This one kind of sucks.
Because Cinderella movie's been milked so hard for so long. They just got really sick of tired of Cinderella movies.
You might say, oh, well, it was one of the first ones. Cut it some slack. No, but here's the thing. I don't just dislike it because it's played out by modern standards. It's also actually a pretty bad retelling of the Cinderella story. They speed through everything involving her backstory and how she ended up subservient to her stepmother and stepsisters, shoving that all into the opening narration in the first 3 minutes. The prince isn't even a fucking character in this. He shows up for the first time like 50 minutes in, and the two of them don't even have a conversation until it's midnight and she's ready to leave.
That's true. He's right about that. Because he has no character until the ballroom scene when she danced with him and she left. He had no character.
I don't even know your name. How will I find you? You what?
Most of charming at all. Their scenes are just really tedious. Sometimes there's fun slapstick with Lucifer the cat, who's really well animated and menacing, more
Technically,
so than
he
the actual
picked
human villains.
Pocahontas as the worst princess. Oh yeah, I forgot he did put Pocahontas as the worst princess. I had to do like a lot of I had to watch a lot of movies like he did to actually think about if Cinderella is worse than it's down low. I don't know. I will put Pocahontas. No, I do not know. I want to put Cinderella this low, but this is his ranking, so I ain't mad about it. Yeah, he said Pocahontas is the worst Disney princess than Cinderella.
Just kind of boring.
But you won't put Penelope from Wreck-It Ralph, but the thing is that the second movie made it worse for her.
I guess The King has some funny moments here and there as well, but overall, this is a movie that just feels completely unfocused. We shouldn't be spending most of the movie on wacky Tom and Jerry hijinks.
Good, that's what they were. They were Tom and Jerry. I was thinking about that too.
We should be focused on giving Cinderella more character and giving the prince a character. I haven't seen Cinderella 3 yet, but that one clip everyone keeps posting of the prince jumping out the window has more life and personality to it than everything in this first movie. The animation's pretty and some of the songs are nice, but honestly,
okay, that made that
it's
mean
long to get through. I don't hate all the old Disney princess movies, as you'll see later on in this list, but this one, yeah, I can't say I'm a fan. However, I did want to point out that the dog in this movie is named Bruno. How come we don't talk about that? Also, Lucifer fucking dies, LMAO.
But doctor, I am
51.
After seeing how many fans of Bolt there were in the comment section of the Disney 2000s ranking, I started
Apparently, Cinderella 3 is okay.
to wonder if perhaps I treated this film too harshly. So I put it back on, and it's even lamer than I remember.
Bolt is not good. I watched Bolt when I was a kid. This movie is not that good. I don't know why people like Bolt. If people like Bolt, that's their opinion. But me when I was a kid, never liked Bolt. As a movie, it's about this dog who thinks that he's a hero, but he's just an asshole. Then you find out that he's a part of a movie. He's a part of a movie crew and everything else. So he thinks he's a hero, but he's not a hero.
Remember, I was absolutely bored out of my mind. Good God.
He's such an asshole, especially with that cat character.
People see it. Like, it's fine to like it and feel nostalgic for it, but even as a kid, this movie left no impact on me. It's easily one of the...
I know it's good character development because like he was such an asshole to her. Then they start becoming friends because like they've been wrestling for so long, so it makes sense that Bolt grew as a character in the movie. But when I watched that, I'm like, he is such an asshole to this character. I get he thought he was a hero, then he found out that he wasn't. Then she gave him a heart to heart and everything.
generic and forgettable films in the entire Disney catalog.
It is forgettable. I didn't really hate Bolt, but let's be honest, this movie is forgettable.
I don't even have anything new to say about it that I didn't mention last time. It's just a tedious, lukewarm rehash of
The animation ain't bad. I would give it that.
Buzz Lightyear's exact arc, except far less funny and far less emotional. John Travolta's voice is so boring and pales in comparison to how funny the character would be if you got someone like Adam West. The hamster is annoying. The cat is annoying. This movie hates cats so much, and that's annoying. There's a couple cute or funny moments, and the opening action scene is cool, but that's about all I liked here. It's just so bland and played out. Not awful or anything, but just so disposable and lame.
It's not worse. It's not worse. It's not a bad Disney movie. It's just forgettable.
The making of Arthur.
The Sword in the Stone.
I had never seen Sword of Stone. Not even once.
Yeah, this one kind of sucks. Sorry. Essentially, this is the story of King Arthur. Except not actually. 'Cause
Yeah.
The King Arthur stuff only happens in the opening narration and the last 10 minutes of the movie. For most of it, King Arthur is this bumbling, uninteresting kid who meets Merlin, and Merlin's all like, "Wow, kid, we really need to get you an education." So the rest of the movie is Merlin turning him into various animals, so I guess he can learn animal stuff. This movie is disjointed and not very well thought out or good. The lessons Merlin teaches Arthur
Honestly,
are
I
super
keep
generic
forgetting
and don't really tie into
this
their
is
animal
this.
misadventures that well at all.
Yeah,
Some animal
I've
misadventures
never
are
seen this movie, not even
on for a
once.
while. The songs are hilariously unmemorable. Merlin has this talking owl companion who's just a huge asshole and not funny or likable in the slightest. I guess Merlin himself is okay, and there's a pretty cool wizard duel at the end with Madame Mim, but that's about it. The ending is unintentionally hilarious because it's here that they finally remember, oh shit, this is supposed to be a King Arthur story, and they shove him pulling the sword and becoming king into the last 10 minutes of this movie. Did this kid really do anything to earn the ability to pull the sword? Are the vague, barely developed lessons he learned as a squirrel and a fish really enough to justify his divine status as the ruler of this entire land? During this movie's climactic battle with Madame Mim, the character we just met 10 minutes before said climactic battle, Arthur doesn't even do anything. He just sits back and watches as Merlin does the entire fight. So really, why is Arthur the king now? Answer me that, Wolfgang Reitherman, director of this movie. Then in like the last 3 minutes of the movie, Arthur's like, man, I don't want to be king. I don't know how to do it. I wish Merlin were here. And then Merlin shows up and he's like, don't worry, broski, you got this. You're going to be a great king. Don't ask me how you're going to do it, but you're going to be good at being king. It's fine, dude. That's the note that the movie ends
That's
on.
it.
The fuck? Weird ass confusion.
Now I see why this movie is
again,
forgivable
but I guess
as
I'm glad
well.
it exists so Merlin can be in Kingdom Hearts and give me access to the Winnie the Pooh world. That's always a nice world.
You're going to Brazil!
49.
The Three Caballeros sure is.
You see, Walt was pretty hands off with this one. That's probably why it's so disjointed. Makes sense.
Is a longer and more annoying version of Saludos Amigos. Yeah, I don't know. This one didn't really work for me. It starts out with the framing device being Donald just watching random movies, like this random penguin short that isn't really that fun. Or
It's
fun.
another
Then
short
there's a flying
Disney
donkey story
movies.
that also isn't very good.
Hey, I can fly!
Then the main story kicks in. It's just Donald vibing with Jose and then getting sent to Brazil, where they meet Panchito and go to Mexico. And
Why every time I see
Also
Donald Duck
is
here now, he's just in random places?
extremely horny the entire time and will flirt with any live-action woman that he sees. Then there's a bunch of colorful noise on the screen, and then it's over. Some of the animation is neat, and I like Jose and Panchito. Plus that one bit where Panchito keeps singing and Donald and Jose try to cut him off genuinely got a really good laugh out of me. But Donald's a bit annoying in this one with his insane horniness. And overall, it just feels like the film is constant chaos with absolutely no structure and no off switch. The few moments where the film actually does slow down
It's pretty
are
sure that
genuinely
this
jarring.
one
Like
is
after
a
shit ton of wacky
cult
nonsense,
classic.
Panchito's
Oh,
suddenly
okay.
like, oh, by the way, let's all take a moment to celebrate
I just
birth
never
of
seen the
Mary and
movie.
Joseph and the customs
Like I
we
said, I
have
ain't seen a lot of these
and it's
movies.
like,
I only
where
seen a
did that
couple.
serious quiet moment come from in a movie that's been nothing but chaos for the past 45 minutes? I also can't really tell if this movie is culturally accurate or if it's offensive and exploitative. With some Disney movies, it's extremely easy to tell.
Yeah.
But with this one, I'm not so sure, and I'd love to hear from Brazilian and Mexican people regarding how they feel about it. All I know is, I didn't really enjoy it all that much, and I thought Saludos Amigos was better, even though that movie had its own shortcomings, which we'll get to.
Because some of these
One more thing
movies
I'll say about
are
this, though,
some
it's
of
one
the
many
old Disney movies
Disney
were
that uses the word
explicitly
gay as a synonym for
racist.
happy. Obviously, this is hilarious.
Sometimes
and
you can't
makes
tell,
it
sometimes you do.
homophobic Disney. But its use in this movie is particularly funny because even though Donald keeps flirting with women, the main characters keep singing about how they're three gay caballeros. Donald Duck, the bi icon we needed.
Please, sir, I want some.
48.
Alright, you guys want to know why Oliver is my least favorite musical of all time? It's because it's an entirely hollow show that constantly prioritizes plot over character. Every character in the story exists to move the plot along, but you never believe
Wait, this is
any
an
of their
animated
relationships
movie?
or aspirations are genuine.
This
Oliver
movie, Oliver,
is
is an
not a
animated
character.
movie.
He's a
Never
plot
seen
device for
Oliver.
the characters around him to use, never actually doing anything to affect the story himself. The Artful Dodger meets Oliver, sings the catchy
Wait,
song
why
about how they're friends
Oliver
now,
in
and
here,
then
even though
ceases
it's supposed to be
relevant for the remainder of the story.
animated
The main
movies?
villain doesn't even show up till Act 2 and never develops any personal beef with Oliver, the quote-unquote main protagonist.
Please,
The only
sir,
sympathetic
can I
character in
have
the
some
whole
more?
show, Nancy,
I never knew it
gets the
came
most
from that.
unfair and cruel fate, while other morally dubious characters like Fagin get away completely scot-free. I fucking loathe this musical with every fiber of my being. It's such a detestable storytelling failure on nearly every level. Oh, wait a minute, this was supposed to be a segment on Oliver and Company, the Disney adaptation.
Oh.
It's better than the musical. Still not very good, though. A lot of the same problems reared their ugly head.
Oh, okay. I was like, what? Why is he a live action movie of Oliver? Oh, you talk about Oliver and Company. I get it now.
Yes. Oliver never does anything in this movie that directly affects the plot.
I think I
He's
see
still
Oliver and Company once in my life, but I just don't remember.
used by the people around him. The movie constantly insists that short, relatively uneventful scenes are the basis for deep character relationships, which is just absurdly flimsy. Like, Oliver winds up at this place where these dogs hang out, and then some evil dogs that belong to Mr.
I know a lot of us
Simpson.
was
So he
confused
scratches one of
with
them,
this.
And now the dogs are all like, wow,
Okay, you
kid,
like,
you're really
why
one
he talk
of
about
us.
a live
Yeah,
action
he
movie, but he
did
talk
it.
about
belongs
the
in
actual
gang now,
Auburn
I guess.
company.
Whatever, it's nice that they're starting to warm up to him. Except no, somebody cranked that oven up to the max temperature because starting to warm up is the understatement of the century. The very next day, they pull a heist and he gets separated from them. And they're all like, well, we gotta save him, he's one of the gang.
One of the boys.
Yeah, call me crazy, but I don't think these guys are really the sentimental type. Especially not for a cat they met less than 24 hours ago. But whatever, they go save him from this rich girl's house, and he's like, hey, I want to go back there. So they're all like, wow, how could you reject us like this? I thought we had something special. But like, no, you absolutely did not. I barely believe he even has something special with the girl. All they spent was one montage together while she sang a hilariously generic song. She reminds me of that girl from the Tom and Jerry movie. I'd rather watch the Tom and Jerry
I remember
movie
that Tom and Jerry
That
movie
said,
where when Tom and Jerry could actually talk. I remember that movie.
there are some elements that are done.
I think
better
I've seen it
than
like
other
two,
movies.
3 times in
Mr.
my
Sykes is
life.
still boring and isn't nearly as cool as he is in Shark Tale, but at least he shows up earlier than halfway through the movie, and he has a pretty sick death scene. Occasionally, the dogs are funny. Most of the songs are pretty lame, but that one song, Why Should I Worry, that shit slaps for real.
For real?
I used to listen to that all the time growing up without actually having seen the full movie, which is the best way to experience it. But there's still changed elements that don't really amount to anything. Like, why is it set in New York City now? Because I don't really feel like they used New York City to its fullest potential. It just kind of feels like window dressing, and you could have told this story anywhere. Also, there's this Bette Midler dog who is just kind of annoying, and then the Cheech Martin Chihuahua starts hitting on her, and immediately you can tell that they're gonna get together in the end, despite all logic and reason being thrown out the window in order for it to happen. What does she see in him all of a sudden? I really don't get it. I don't know, it's not the worst, but its story and characters kind of blow, and in my opinion, that's partially because of the story it's adapting. I haven't seen every Oliver Twist adaptation out there.
God damn, so many adaptations of this
They can't
Oliver.
all be terrible, right?
I hope you made lots
47.
of spaghetti.
I just finished Lady and the Tramp, and I don't remember.
I ain't seen Lady and the Tramp in a long time.
Okay, hold on, let me watch it again.
1 hour later.
Yeah, no, still nothing. Okay, I'll watch it for a third time, and this time I'll write down my points as I'm watching. Okay, got it. The entire first 30 minutes of this movie is so unnecessarily drawn out, and it takes forever for anything interesting to get going. I don't mind when a movie vibes for a while as long as the characters are enjoyable, but these ones are just really boring. Aunt Sarah is a pitiful, quote-unquote, antagonist. Her racist cats only appear for one scene to torment Lady and then disappear from the movie entirely, which is probably a good thing. The romance is practically non-existent. If you take out the admittedly really good spaghetti scene with the lovely Italian stereotypes, then barely anything about Lady and Tramp's interactions feel romantic. There's not even really that strong of a contrast between Lady's fancy upbringing and Tramp's rugged lifestyle. You'd think Lady would have trouble adjusting to life outside her house and Tramp could help her along. Or they could argue about who has the more fulfilling life. You know, interesting things you can do with this premise. But they don't do those. The plot also shifts into maximum overdrive.
She always has the same voice actor as from the guy from Lion King.
Aunt Sarah thinks he was attacking the baby, so he sent to the dog pound. But don't worry, Lady shows that, oh shit, it was a rat, which means the other two dogs now go rescue Tramp, and Lady and her owners follow behind. And then one of the dogs seems to die, but then it turns out he's fine, he just broke his leg. And now the rich couple adopted Tramp, and he and Lady have a ton of kids, and they all come together for Christmas. And yeah, that was all crammed into the last 10 minutes.
Okay,
This
but we
movie
are
meanders for so long in the first half,
it is a
and then
pretty
tries
good
to make up
song.
for that meandering at the very end with this breakneck madcap climax. It's not good. I will never remember anything about it except for the
Damn,
lovely
a bad
Italian
reading.
stereotype scene.
46.
I'm sorry, I really can't stand The Rescuers Down Under. It got so much worse on rewatch for me. I've always wondered if
I never
maybe was
seen.
being harsh on it because
I think I seen the first
simply because it
Rescuers, but
wasn't a
never
high
seen
review
this
school
one.
like all the other films in that
Down
list.
Under.
But now that I've actually seen all the pre-Renaissance Disney films and come to respect a lot of them, it's pretty clear that no.
I actually like
absolutely was not
Fox and the
leading too
Hound,
much to this movie.
even though I ain't
It's
seen the
dull
movie
and
for so
boring.
long.
Nothing happens for the majority majority of it, and the titular mice have no role in the story until the very end. The villain is kind of fun, and there's a few sequences with cool animation, but the rest of this is just mediocre kiddie garbage. It's not even worth talking about any longer, since between the Renaissance ranking and this video, I've devoted way more attention to this movie than it deserves. Walt Disney Animation Studios, make a good sequel challenge. Impossible.
It's his opinion that he didn't like the
As I
movie.
alluded to earlier, Brother Bear isn't nearly as painful after you sit through the true agony.
Because I seen Brother Bear. I just recently watched Brother Bear. I get why people did not like this movie. I like the beginning, how it established the brothers. Then you get why the main character went after this bear. But the movie started making no sense when he became a bear. Then now he's with this kid. It's like, yeah, I get why a lot of people did not like the movie.
Of the shitty ass Bongo the Bear story. It's also way better than Pocahontas and Brave, for what that's worth.
Yeah.
But yeah, I still can't help but be saddened by how much missed potential this film
Because I like the animation ain't bad, but I think the problem was it had a little bit, it should have more potential, but it kind of fell from a lot of people's eyes. I don't hate Brother Bear, but I get why a lot of people did not like Brother Bear.
Its first 20 minutes are legitimately really good, and it feels like such a profound and mature story on loss and grief, and it seems like it's going to be a much more grown-up Disney movie than most. But then
Because it's about the brothers just lost it. They just lost their brother, then he's hunted this bear that killed him. Then he became a bear.
fucking animals start talking, and now it's a
Because it became more of he now he killed this bear. Now he has to learn about what he did.
baby movie. It's so annoying. Like, it feels like a completely different writing team did the first 20 minutes, and then
Yes.
handed the rest of the movie off to literal 5-year-olds to finish. To be fair, it has some good, strong, dramatic moments that peek their head in during the third act. And I actually did find the moose to be kind of funny, but man, when the emotional climax of the film is completely inaudible because you felt the need to play a bullshit, corny Phil Collins song over it,
Yeah.
that's how you know this needed more time in the writer's room. And before you
Because they went to this emotional scene where I forgot the main character's name. Yeah, he talked to this kid about now he learned that the bear that he killed was his mother. They play a whole song about it. They play a whole song around them having a heart to heart. But you can't even hear that whole conversation. They just skipped the whole conversation, and now he ran away.
on me for not liking the film.
I was like,
Collins songs in
what?
this one.
Like, I was
actually
like,
love
why?
Great Spirit. It's a legit jam that I still listen to this day. Yeah, not the worst. It did have legit promise, and it's a great story on paper, but the execution left a lot to be desired. Also, Coda's motivation throughout this movie is to get to the salmon run.
Don't you have someplace to go?
Yeah, the salmon run.
Trust me, kid, you do not want to go there. It is brutal. Oh my god, I have seen some shit.
What else? Strange.
And the kid's motivation was just go to that place where all the bears is. That's all it is.
Strange World is Disney's most recent and
I'm surprised you put Strange World all the way up here. I think he's like, yeah, Strange World ain't that bad than the other movies he's seen.
possibly most mid-film to date.
I haven't seen Strange World. I heard that a lot of people didn't like it. But I like, is it that bad or just people just did not like the movie?
No, seriously. I barely have anything to say about this film. I'm really glad I decided not to review it last month because I'm really stretching to think of stuff to say in this short ranking blurb, let alone an entire video. It pretty much meets the baseline requirements for a passable family film and not much else. Nothing in it was potentially bad for kids, like some of the messages in Raya or Ralph Breaks the Reputation of Disney Animation Studios, but nothing particularly grabbed me to elevate it above stuff like Big Hero 6 or Frozen 2, which I also found mid, but at least they had Baymax and a couple good songs, respectively. The character design here is not great. It reminded me a lot of Sony Animation character designs, and not in a good way. I actually kind of liked the part at the beginning, before they went on the journey to the strange world, better than the actual journey itself. It was just some nice slice of life stuff that I found decently charming. But then they go to the strange world, and the movie is so boring and generic and played out. The creatures they encounter are fine, and the characters themselves are also fine. I didn't dislike any of them, but none of them really grabbed me either. The conflicts between the dad
I just saw this, and yeah, it's kind of mid.
and his son are fine. The conflicts between the dad and his father are fine. Everything in this movie is fucking fine. What else do you want from me? This video could have had a nice even 60 movies in it. But no, you just had to fuck it up. You and your generic adventure and your half-baked concepts. You just had to be another indication of Disney Animation's continual collapse into comfortable mediocrity. I think
You can tell Disney just lost all creativity. They just lost all creativity because most of their movies are just not that good than it was back in the day.
Liked in this movie, but it's so forgettable it's hard to remember what. Oh yeah, there's a twist in the third act that was.
When was the last good Disney movie? Not counting Marvel. What was the last good Disney movie? Cause I don't even know.
Kind of cool. It's the only part of the movie that piqued my interest, but it's kind of too little too late, you know? They really should have built on that concept throughout the entire movie instead of keeping it a secret until the very end. The movie feels like it barely has any tangible stakes until this reveal, and it really could have benefited from a villain who wants to exploit and destroy aspects of this world for their own selfish gain. And they need to be stopped. I don't know, for a movie with a clear environmental metaphor at its heart, it really could have used a greedy, selfish, hateable villain who wants to exploit this world, rather than just a normal person who misunderstands what's going on. But that won't happen, because modern Disney hates villains for some inexplicable reason. They have a joke in this movie
I like the
where they're playing
Yu-Gi-Oh,
a game
dude.
without a villain, and the grandpa says, "There's no villain, that's just bad storytelling." Well, gee, Disney, sorry I want my movie based on the concept of adventure serials to have stakes and a clear, threatening, villainous presence, rather than the conflict just being a lukewarm rehash of the familial strife that was done infinitely better in Encanto. The fucking ego modern Disney movies have to criticize aspects of their previous films that most people liked truly astounds me. I don't know, I guess I should just be happy there wasn't a twist villain, so whatever.
At least it wasn't no twist
villain.
villain.
This is gay, and they actually talk about his crush in 3 or 4 scenes rather than just one. That's nice, and probably the first instance of good, solid, casual representation in a Disney animated movie, but it still feels pitiful compared to the representation Owl House has been putting out, so whatever. It's nice.
Owl House did. I had to say the only good one that doesn't beat you in the drum with representation garbage is Owl House, even though I haven't seen Owl House not even once. I had to say Owl House is the only one that doesn't really hit you in the head with representation.
Not particularly noteworthy in the grand scheme of the movie's story, which is fine. Casual representation is still welcome, but it's hard to see it as too big of a deal when Disney television animation has far exceeded it. If this is the reason Disney barely marketed this movie, then fuck 'em. Boring, generic animated movies with a gay character deserve to be seen by kids as much as boring, generic animated movies with all straight characters. I guess I had a lot more to say about this movie than I thought. It's lame, and you're not missing much by skipping it, but I almost want to recommend checking it out, just despite corporate Disney for hating gay people so much. Plus, maybe you'll like the movie more than I will. Maybe you'll want to
I think it's not that. It's that I think it's that too, but I think it's another thing is that people got really sick and tired of how Disney is beating people with the drum with representation and stuff. I think people will not mind a gay character, but people just hate how Disney is doing it. If Disney tried to use representation to make more money, and you know they try to make money off of this, but they don't know how to do it right because they are shit and they are shit as a company. That's all it is.
Who knows? I want to go to bed.
43.
Make mine music.
Never seen
this. This one
this.
is the only film in the Disney animated canon to not be available on Disney Plus for some reason. I have no idea why. I mean, the ones with actual racist content in them are on there, but this one doesn't seem to have any. Plus, the other package films are available there, so I genuinely don't get it. Did they just forget? They probably forgot.
I keep having this nagging feeling that I've forgotten something.
Hey, if you forgot it, it probably wasn't all that important.
It's a shame, too, because this is leagues better than Fun and Fancy Free and Melody Time. I mean, it's still not really that good, but it's better than those two. There's a few segments I legitimately enjoyed here. Like the one with all the
They
teens
literally
dancing
the
sweet
only
music was
part
really
they
energetic and
marketed.
fun.
Yeah, they only marketed. Yeah, that's the only thing they marketed. They marketed just that character being gay, but except the whole story. If you see Disney market just the representation, but not the story itself either, you could tell it's not that good of a movie.
Film. The baseball segment was fun
Because
too.
if you just marketing just the representation, but not your whole movie, it's just like that's the only thing you only care about. Then people actually watch it and people are like, yeah, this movie's not that good.
It's cartoony slapstick and whatnot. There's a romance story about a fedora.
Because Disney don't know how to write good movies no more.
For a blue bonnet hat. I am not making that up. It is a musical segment about a down bad fedora.
I think Disney only got like one good TV show, and it's Our House.
I can't even tell if it's like actually good, but I certainly derived a lot of enjoyment from it, so take that for what it's worth. And then there's a story about a whale who wants to be an opera singer. That's a very funny concept, and it's executed pretty well, honestly. So yeah, plenty of enjoyable shorts, but the connective tissue between them is non-existent. There's no framing device, and a lot of slow, boring, not particularly well-animated segments that balance out all the inspired or fun ones. Couple that with the Peter and the Wolf and Martins and the Koi segments just kind of being okay, and you have a very mixed bag of a film. Some good stuff that I'd recommend checking out if you can find them somewhere, but it's not really worth it to watch this whole thing. The fact that Disney refuses to put this on streaming, but they have Mulan 2020 and this foul there.
I hate Mulan 2020. I hate that fucking movie. How they fuck my girl Mulan over, even though I really love Mulan. I hate how they did her in that movie. Fuck Disney for that.
You're right, that was my mistake.
I'm not talking about Big Hero 6 again. This is up there as one of the Disney movies I've talked about the most.
Okay,
over
put
the
Big Hero
years.
6
But unlike
next.
something like Frozen or Zootopia, where there's actually a lot to say about them, there actually is so little to say about Big Hero 6 that it's kind of comical how much I talked about it in the past. It's whatever. It's generic and lame. Baymax good. That was his mistake guy bad. Everyone else boring. I don't hate this movie, but I also don't like it. It is the quintessential example of a perfectly average modern kids movie. Let's move on with the list and our lives now. So I asked my girlfriend if she wanted to rewatch any of the Disney movies between Little Mermaid and The Present with me. And out of all the Disney musicals released in that time, the only ones she didn't want to watch were Frozen and Frozen 2. I just found that
boy.
funny. Anyway, Frozen 2.
Yes, because I haven't seen Frozen 2. I said this. I didn't hate Frozen. When I was a little kid, I did not like Frozen, but my sister got me into it. Then I watched Frozen. I'm like, I didn't hate Frozen like a lot of people did. But Frozen 2, I did not care about Frozen 2 as a movie. I like, why y'all made a second movie of Frozen? Even though it's no stakes in this movie, I think.
Reviewed it once, watched the documentary on it, realized they had no plan or time when making it.
Yeah,
and then talked
so
about it some more
what was the point of making this movie?
in the Disney 2010s video. I can certainly appreciate the film's ambition and a couple of good songs and nice moments, but yeah, it's kind of a shit show. It's rare to find a Disney movie where it's this obvious how tortured the writing process was. The number of characters they introduce and then drop, the characters from the original that are given nothing to do this time, the insane leaps in logic the protagonists have to take in order to figure out what they need to do, since the script didn't have time for them to naturally come to these conclusions. It's frustrating because there is a good outline for a story here. It just came out really half-baked. Oh well, it's not really a phenomenon on nearly the same level as the first film, so the good news is, I don't have to think about it that much. Let's just move on.
At least the first one has stakes.
Do an order of pizza for dinner.
Sorry guys,
40.
I didn't really like Bambi. I definitely understand why some people love this one. It's very beautiful.
I never heard someone didn't like Bambi. Wow. I ain't seen Bambi in years.
Depiction of nature, thanks in large part to the animation and the music. And I was definitely really sucked into it during the first 15 minutes. But then the novelty kinda wore off for me, and I started to notice just how practically non-existent the story was, and how entirely uninteresting the characters were. Apparently everybody cries when Bambi's mom dies, but I was completely unmoved by it because I couldn't think of a single character trait Bambi or his mom had. Plus, it's supposed to be this big, sad moment, But then immediately after, we have this aggressively cheerful song about how lovely springtime is. And Bambi's all grown up now and appears to be completely unaffected by the death of his mom. Like, he entirely forgot about it. Now it's time for him to fall in love with a girl deer that he met once during his childhood. Wow. He's been Twitter-pated. Haha, funny Twitter reference. There's also a lot of scenes, especially in the first half, that are just trying aggressively hard to be cutesy, but didn't really work for me at all. Also, Thumper's kind of annoying. The ending where they have to escape the fire is cool, but yeah, for the most part, this one wasn't for me. I probably would have loved it if it was just a short film, but alas, 'twasn't meant to be. Also, obviously it's valid to like or love this film, but if you seriously try to say with a straight face that man is one of the best Disney villains of all time, I will break into your house and make you feel unsafe.
I'm 39.
I mean the bare necessities, oh something, something, Chesapeake, blah, 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 blah. I don't really like the Jungle Book that much.
Wow, he did not like Jungle Book. Some people would actually put Jungle Book up there. I ain't seen, like I said, I ain't seen Jungle Book since middle school. That's the last time I seen Jungle Book.
And those songs are swell. My face lit up during Bare Necessities. And
I know a lot of people gonna look at his video and be like, "You like Bambi and Jungle Book?"
Singing along, having a great time, feeling so good overall.
But I think it's just way good movies than those
The
two.
movie was kind of boring. Don't get me wrong, I see why a lot of people love this one. It's nice and laid back.
That's the point. Bambi's supposed to be a slice of life film, like an actual nature.
It's a fun dynamic. Shere
Different
Khan is a simple but effective antagonist, even if he's just kind
documentary.
of a star in hindsight. The voice acting
Couldn't
is
even
good
pronounce
all
it.
around, the environments look nice, but like, man, there's just no story to this movie. Mowgli is told he needs to go to the man village, and then he doesn't, and he just walks around talking to a bunch of random animals. That's the entire fucking premise, and it gets really old. I don't know, this might be blasphemous to say, but I honestly think the live-action remake, as average as that was, might be a little bit better than the original here.
I know he gonna get everybody mad about that when he said that. I know he got a lot of people upset about that when he said the live action movie did is way better than the anime movie.
Aliens, it at least had more of a story, plus it had some cool visual effects. With this one, it's just an extremely one-note and kinda tedious trek through this jungle, with characters that range from extremely charming, like Baloo and King Louie, to incredibly forgettable, like these elephants and vultures. I just watched the movie, and I don't remember anything they said or did. The ending is so funny to me because Mowgli is so adamant about never wanting to leave the jungle and live in the man village, but then the moment he sees some random girl, he's instantly smitten and abandons the jungle and Baloo completely, just to get in her DMs. I'm not gonna criticize a movie from 1967 for ending this way. I just think it's hilarious that a movie that never even brought up the idea of romance prior to this point still somehow found a way to end with a hetero love interest for Mowgli. Like, Disney sure was committed to these romances back in the old day, huh? Yeah, sorry, I don't care for this one too much. I feel bad because it is pretty inoffensive and harmless. I just couldn't get invested in this incredibly minimal story. But I have had Bare Necessities stuck in my head for the past week. I fully get the hype with this song. It's so fun. I mean the bare necessities, those motherfucking recipes. I'll keep my discussion of Dumbo pretty brief, since, well, the movie's pretty brief. It's
He put Dumbo low too.
a very weird mismatch of exceptionally great stuff, exceptionally terrible stuff, and a couple
Dumbo, the
of
live action was garbage.
Pink Elephant scene
Like I said,
has
didn't
kind of
watch it.
pointless as
You like,
is.
why you
It's
hate
some
something you don't
awesome
watch?
shit.
I'm like,
It's
I
impressive
heard
to
how
me
bad
that
these
it's by
movies
modern
are,
standards, and this
and I
movie came
get
out in
why people hate it,
1941.
and I watch
There's
people
absolutely
reviews
no
of
reason
it.
they needed to
It's
go
that
this
bad.
hard on the scene. I mean, there's also no reason it had to be in the movie at all, but I'm glad it is, because it's the best part. The mouse in this is also honestly just a better Jiminy Cricket. Like, he's a lot more supportive.
I had only seen the live action 1990
The
story
Crows are
version.
undeniably terrible racist caricatures. But with that said, there
Yeah,
are
they
these
did have
positive
some
characters
racist
who
tones,
help and
especially with the
support Dumbo,
crows.
And they get the best song in the movie. So they're bad, but I guess not as bad as they could have been? The way more racist shit was those faceless carnival workers. Warning, don't listen to their song. It's ultra racist cringe. Dumbo is cute. The grown-ass elephant ladies all having beef with a literal infant is kind of funny. Anyway, after Dumbo and the mouse get drunk and hallucinate pink elephants, they wake up in a tree and the crows of
Yes, because they
Dumbo
did have
can
drunk.
fly.
It did
So then
make
he
some of these
flies and
characters
everyone loves
drunk
him
too
and he's
back
famous and
in
conflict
the
is
old
immediately
Disney
over.
movies.
He just had to notice noticed he could fly. Yeah, there's not a lot of plot structure in this one, and there's no third act at all. It's just an hour and 3 minutes of Dumbo getting born, getting ridiculed, getting...
Yeah, I heard that a lot of people like the crows. But a lot of people would say, oh yeah, they were still pre-racist, even though a lot of people like the crows.
Father, when can I leave to be on my own?
37.
Even though I was only 2 movies into this marathon, I could already tell that Pinocchio is one of the weirdest things.
Really? He put Pinocchio so low.
It has a lot of the same structural issues as Jungle Book. It's a very...
I'm surprised he put Pinocchio so low. People will put Pinocchio number 1. Wow. I ain't mad about it. I ain't seen Pinocchio in years. But I know a lot of people will be upset about him putting Pinocchio this low. And a lot of people put Pinocchio like top 10. He put Pinocchio so low.
This happened sort of movie.
Not so low. Like he put in the 30s, but not no one. I'm interested what his no one is.
Misadventures Pinocchio gets into don't really connect or flow together all that well. But I will give Pinocchio this. It's a lot more fun than Jungle Book because of how batshit insane the stuff he gets into is.
Oh, yeah.
He gets held prisoner by this delightfully evil Italian stereotype before he gets free and then never sees him again. Then he goes to this island where little boys are turned into donkeys and sold into indentured servitude, which is an absolutely fucking insane plot point. But then he escapes and those donkey boys are
at least he in mid category.
His father Geppetto isn't there, only for him to read a letter that tells him that his father was eaten by a fucking whale. What? Where did that come from? What's happening? This movie's insane plot structure would be totally fine if it had a strong theme tying it all together, but that's kind of my biggest issue with it. This is designed to be a morality story where Pinocchio's values are tested so he can potentially become a real boy in the end. But the problem is, he doesn't really get into these precarious situations because of his faulty morals or values. It's more so because he's just naive and doesn't know how the world works. So he trusts this shifty foxman who tricks him.
Cause that's what Pinocchio's character is. He's just so
It's less
naive.
a failure of Pinocchio's character and more
He
so
get
a
himself
failure
in,
of
like,
Jiminy
pre-
Crickets for just being an
like,
irresponsible, terrible
Weird and bad
as well
situations.
as Geppetto for not just walking him to school and making sure he gets there. Like, if you've never seen the movie, you probably assume Pinocchio's nose that grows whenever he lies plays into the movie a lot. It's a blatant examination of his honesty, and it's what most people typically associate with the character. But yeah, no, he only lies and causes his nose to grow in one scene. He's not like a pathological liar who needs to learn over the course of the movie that lying is wrong. He's just a naive kid who was literally born yesterday, who gets into bad situations because his guardians don't even try to tell him the difference between right and wrong. So the movie is very flawed as a morality story, but it's definitely worth a watch to see all the batshit insane stuff that happens. There's something very special about seeing a Disney icon like Pinocchio smoking a cigar, as well as hearing the word jackass multiple times in a Disney film. There's some weird-ass, questionable clocks that Geppetto made, like this one of a mom spanking her boy's naked buttock with this red paint on it that looks like blood. And then there's this bodacious figure. Why did he make either of these? In one scene, the cat goes up his ass, and also he sleeps with a gun under his pillow, which is delightful. There's a song they sing that proudly proclaims an actor's life is gay. Haha, fuck you, modern Disney, you homophobes. This is in one of your movies. You can't erase this. There are references to Alice in Wonderland and Little Mermaid at different points. Intentional foreshadowing? No, definitely not. These are just funny coincidences. What is intentional foreshadowing, however, is the fact that this movie has the Red Lobster in. This movie came out in 1940, and Red Lobster was founded in 1968.
Wow,
Pinocchio
really?
predicted
That's interesting.
Red Lobster. This is 100% canon and cannot be disputed. Thank you, Pinocchio, for giving us this amazing, complete.
I never ate Red Lobster, even though I'm from
Olive
Louisiana.
Garden gang for life, baby! Have you tried their never-ending pasta bowl? It never ends!
Amigos,
36.
we're all amigos.
Saludos Amigos is the shortest Disney animated film at only 42 minutes. It's not really an animated film.
What was
It's more
that?
so
He just skipped over that so fast. I didn't say gay is.
South American countries. Honestly, that's a pretty cool concept, and I'd love to see a modern interpretation of said concept made by people who actually come from the culture that's being adapted. This movie would be so awesome without the blatant commodification of South American culture by US businessmen. And it's more than a little awkward nowadays to learn about these cultures through the myopic framing of a bunch of white dudes here to condense this rich culture into a profitable animated film for predominantly white audiences. But like, that's how most Disney films are made. This is
Yeah.
the only one that just
Most
blatantly
Disney
shows
films
us
are
that
made
process. Ultimately,
like
while
that.
some aspects of it are certainly aged, it's a relatively enjoyable watch. Donald and Goofy get into some fun, wacky shenanigans. There's a short about this little anthropomorphic plane that's better than the entire Cars trilogy.
Way
And the
better
ending
than
is
those Cars
incredibly
movies.
stunning and
Fuck
creative
all those
animation.
movies.
If nothing else, you should
Except for
definitely
the
check out
first
ending
one,
as a
I
quote
kind of
unquote
like, but the
movie.
other,
In terms of the whole package,
I never
it's
seen the
pretty
third
much
one. I
what it
can't
is.
really
It's a
say about
pretty
the third one. The
decent
second
time
one's
that held my
terrible.
interest throughout its entire runtime. Not too bad, in spite of how obvious its shortcomings are in hindsight. The Aristocats is like the perfect example of an average Disney film. It's a charming little movie.
Never seen
with a cute
Aristocats.
little story and nice animation, and yeah, I don't know, it was perfectly pleasant. I thought these two dogs were funny, and I liked the slapstick they got into with Edgar, who's also a pretty delightfully petty villain, even if he is a bit simplistic. The dude cat had a pretty sexy voice, and I liked him bonding with the family and all that stuff. The song Everybody Likes was pretty good, except when it was racist. The movie was never annoying, though maybe some scenes went on a bit too long, and it could have been a tad shorter since there's not really a lot of story content. But at the end of the day, it's cute, it's fun, I had a decent time watching it. There's just not a whole lot to say about it, and I probably won't see it again.
34.
The Rescuers is better than the Rescuers Down Under because the mice actually have a role in the story in this one. And the kid isn't a supreme dumbass. She's actually pretty smart and adorable and just overall pretty enjoyable. Yeah, this is the best film in the Rescuers cinematic universe.
Yeah, the
And
first
it's
one
also
gonna be
just
better
kind
than
of
the second
okay.
one.
I think the first 30 minutes or so are very charming and fun.
Sometimes the
I love
second
the
be
idea of
better
this
than the first
heroic
ones,
rescuing
but
society, and I love how in
sometimes the first
scene,
ones always
Bernard is just
be
straight up dressed like
classics
Mario. I know
than the
this movie
second
came
one.
out before Mario even existed, but come
Really?
on, Disney clearly looked into the future to see Mario's design, and then they just gave it to this mouse boy. There's some fun sleuthing and fun chasing, but I kind of lost interest when they got to the giant bayou. The villain is just kind of the Walmart-ass version of Cruella de Vil or Madame
Wow,
Mim.
Walmart
Some of the
version
side
of
characters are just
Cruella.
boring. Hell, at this point, you
It
start to
couldn't
notice
say-
that
it
the
couldn't say
titular
what I had to say.
rescuers are kind of boring too. But there's some fun sequences, like when the alligators are trying to catch the mice who are inside this organ. Plus, the climax is pretty fun as well. It's a perfectly decent little watch that I had a perfectly decent little time with. But whoever decided that this movie deserved a theatrical sequel instead of The Great Mouse Detective should get eaten by an alligator. Okay, maybe that's a bit too harsh. Actually, it wasn't harsh enough.
Oh, what the fuck?
33.
Frozen. I've pretty much exhausted all the topics of discussion I wanted to say with this movie over the course of the many, many videos that have covered it in the past. But I do think this video, that delves into every Disney animated film ever made, is a great place to discuss the bizarre legacy this movie has.
Yeah.
It's hard to really say if Frozen is overrated or overhated. I mean, it's kind of both, but also kind of neither. Is it worthy of being the worldwide cultural phenomenon that it is? Oh, absolutely not.
Yeah.
It's baffling to me that this movie...
There's a clip from a porn film in the Rescuers for one frame. Yeah, I remember that, but he really saying much about it.
took off as much as it did when every other Disney musical from the same era were just so much better in nearly every way. But at the same time, while the movie and its characters remain popular with children to this day, I feel like most teens and adults are really dismissive of this movie. And I get why. It's annoying seeing it everywhere when it's not actually good enough to justify its omnipresence in our modern culture. But at the same time, that's not really good enough justification to call it a bad movie.
Okay, it's not a bad movie. I would say it's average. It's average. It's not bad. It's not that good, but it's not that bad. It's like a 6 or 7 out of 10. People hate the twist villain because the twist villain was so retarded. Why did you make this do a twist villain? It's so ridiculous. Okay, it makes no sense. Because the whole movie, he wasn't even a villain. He was like a good guy. Then we find out, oh, he's a villain. And it's like so stupid.
Because it really isn't. There are some aspects of this movie that are exceptional and do live up to the hype in some ways. Like, Let It Go really is that good. Anna and Kristoff have great chemistry. Olaf is actually pretty funny in this one, and then never again. Kind of like the Minions. And it's honestly a really well-directed movie with good pacing and a lot of tension during the scenes that are supposed to have tension. All the problems lie with the script.
Yeah.
And they are significant problems. I still think the tonal whiplash at the end of Fixer Upper is some of the worst in any Disney movie. The rock trolls themselves still suck.
Yeah.
Hans sucks.
Yeah.
Do you want to build a snowman? Still sucks. It's a movie where the good and bad elements.
I hate the
are all
Fixer Upper song. It's so stupid. The Fixer Upper song is so dumb. I hate that song.
always at war with themselves. And yet, enough people latched onto those good
Like,
elements.
it's good stuff in this movie, then some bad stuff in this movie.
It's a worldwide hit. Because,
That's why I put
those
like
elements
at
weren't
least
just
like a
good,
6
they
or
were
7
phenomenal.
or 5 or
But the
6.
film
It's,
as a whole
y'all
is
good stuff is in
nonetheless
it, but some bad
wildly
stuff is in it.
And while I kinda like it, I'm absolutely not losing sleep over the amount of people expressing how much they don't like it.
Yeah.
I can't even really enjoy the good stuff like Let It Go because of how overplayed it was. It's similar to how I currently feel about Hamilton. Sometimes too much popularity can be a detriment and make you sick of something regardless of its quality. And Frozen is probably Disney's biggest example of that. I think it's a perfectly fine movie.
Yeah,
with a lot
because
of
I
emotional
try to
elements,
hide the
but
message
could
because I
probably go
got sick and tired of
another
these
10
spam
years
bots.
without ever watching it again. Also, just for funsies on this rewatch, I paused the movie before Let It Go started and put on the Kingdom Hearts 3 version instead. It was hilarious. I really want someone to just make a cut of the movie where it's
now
the
you-
exact same,
now
but
see.
the Kingdom Hearts 3 version of this song is inserted in. That's the ideal way to watch the movie.
Take him out.
Winnie
32.
the Pooh, not to be confused with The Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh, is still pretty charming and sweet. After watching the original
People say
film,
they
I
like the
really
main adventure
appreciate
of
even
Winnie
more
the Pooh
just
than
how
the
timeless
actual Winnie the
and
Pooh
totally
movie.
consistent this 2011 reboot is. Especially considering this came out the same year as shit like The Smurfs,
Oh.
which completely bastardized its charming source
Yes.
material. So it's nice that Disney didn't try and make
Oh, I
Winnie the Pooh
hate
more
the
hip and
Smurfs,
modern or
the live
something
action
like
Smurfs
that.
movie.
It's nice and cute and all that jazz, but it's still just so weirdly short, and I wish they would have developed it more or added more stories. It doesn't really feel like a feature film, and as the last 2D animated film from Disney Animation, it's not the best way for that style to go out. But for what it is, it's pretty cute. I pretty much said all I had
Thank
to say
you.
about it last time, though, so let's move on. Where is the
31.
On rewatch,
Treasure
I haven't
Planet.
really changed my tune on Treasure Planet as much as you or I was probably hoping. The steampunk aesthetic clicked with me a lot more, but
I like Treasure Planet. I know it's not the best movie ever, but I actually like Treasure Planet. I think a lot of people treated Treasure Planet a little bit too harshly. It has some good moments, especially with the main character and the villain of the movie.
that's about it. Overall, this is a movie that I just don't vibe with that much. There are a ton of legitimately strong aspects to it, like the character growth exhibited by Jim Hawkins and John Silver,
Yeah.
as well as their relationship. It's really beautiful and interesting, and I love the concept.
That's
of
why I like the
twist
movie
at
because of
the
those
end
two,
and revealing
because
him
of both of
early
these
so
two
that you can
characters,
see
how they
develop
grew
more of a conscience
together.
as the film goes on. That's fantastic stuff, and I just wish these strong characters were in a better movie.
They should have been. Let's be honest, these two should have been a better movie. But I think it's not both because these two characters' fault. It's just like the rest of the movie. It's just wasn't that great at all.
The first half on the ship is pretty solid, but once they actually get to Treasure Planet, every scene that doesn't involve Jim and Silver's relationship just kind of falls apart.
Yeah,
I hate the annoying dickhead robot who literally isn't funny ever.
He is
and
not
Amelia have
funny.
practically nothing to do, and their romance is hilariously underdeveloped.
Yeah,
The whole
that's
sequence
true.
where Jim
He
returns to
right
the
about
ship to
that.
get the map is just kind of filler. It's just. I was really digging the first half too, and I really wish this time I could see what everyone else sees in this movie. But it's just kind of a resounding meh for me. To be fair, the climax is actually pretty cool, and again, Jim and Silver's
when we hit the
relationship
second
is
half of the
excellent,
movie, that's
especially
when
the
it
final
start
scene together. I don't mind if
going
other people
down.
would consider this one an underrated masterpiece. I just personally don't feel that way, and that's totally okay. You guys can all have fun enjoying it together, and I'll sit over here in the corner as the only member of the Atlantis fan club. Okay, the list is halfway over. Now it's time to talk about Squarespace. I don't have a sponsored transition this time. I'm very tired. Let's just
Okay, you have
do it right now.
get to
Squarespace
our
is a fantastic,
fee on
intuitive
this.
online website builder that allows you to create beautiful
I've never
websites
seen
for your
Atlantis,
business
never
or
once,
personal
as
hobby.
is
Present
haven't
your work
seen it
using
yet.
Squarespace's professional portfolio designs. Display projects in customizable galleries and add password-protected pages to share private works with clients. You can even present your videos from YouTube, Vimeo, and Animoto on your Squarespace site. Add an image overlay to your video to improve your website's load speed by waiting to embed video players until playback starts. Every design automatically includes a unique mobile presence that matches the overall style of your website, so your content will look great on every device, every time. And if you don't want that, you can always disable the mobile view from Website Manager. Buying a domain from Squarespace is so simple because there are no hidden fees or price hikes. Each domain comes with an ad-free parking page and free WHOIS privacy on eligible domains. Squarespace sells over 200 top-level domains, so you can find the perfect name for your website. Choose a URL that ends in .com, .net, .org, or you can always get a more specific one like .art if you want to be fancy. If you're ready to share your passions or promote your business with the rest of the world, head to squarespace.com for a free trial. And when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/Schaffrillas to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain.
That slippery
Dirty.
little frog has ruined everything.
The Princess and the Frog is so frustrating because it's so close to being good.
Yeah.
Tiana is honestly one of the best Disney princesses. Naveen's a ton of fun, and Dr.
Treasure
Facilier
Planet is okay. Also, how come you didn't react to the Illumination rankings? I just forgot about it. Then most of the movies I had never seen before. Some Illumination movies I had never seen. I've seen like most of the Despicable Me movies. I seen one like the doll movie, but the rest of them I just haven't really seen much to the point like. Should I do like an Illumination reaction? I may do one. I just don't know. I am interested in Mario. Let me go to Illumination and see what movies I've seen. I see Despicable Me. I seen Minions. I haven't seen Grinch. I know they're making a Sonic movie. Let me see franchises. Here we go. I haven't seen Secret Life of Pets. I haven't seen. I think that's why I haven't seen most of these movies. Is that most of it's just Despicable Me movies. However, that franchise is Despicable Me. Two of them are like seeing in the Secret Life of Pets. And most people do not like seeing. Some people are like average to like Pets. Most people do not like Despicable Me movies because how they milk the minions. I think that's why I haven't really made a video on it because of that. That's why. That's why I watched this guy. I've seen most of these movies, but with Illumination, I haven't really seen. Only seen like 3 movies.
Is such a cool villain. You know, if I had a nickel for every time Keith David voiced the villain in a Disney product about frogs, I'd have 2 nickels. Which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it happened twice, right? Anyway.
I like The Princess and the Frog, but I know why a lot of people didn't like it.
Every time I watch this movie, it's so good for the first 30 minutes or so, and I'm so invested, and...
Yeah, because the first 30 minutes, the first half of the movie is good, but when you hit the second half of the movie when she became a frog, the whole movie just went downhill. Then it started picking up a little bit in the ending. But let's be honest, the second half of the movie kind of made Princess of the Frog go way down.
Down as a frog.
Keith Davis.
Okay, I guess this is just a lame talking animal slapstick comedy movie for a while now. There are still nice moments, like when the two of them dance together during the Evangeline song. And I like characters like Louis and Mama Odie. And okay, I didn't dislike Ray as much on my most recent viewing, but I still don't like him. But yeah, overall the quality really takes a nosedive once it becomes clear that the entire middle chunk of this movie is just a cringe-ass swamp journey.
Yeah.
And the third act isn't awful, but it's just kind of got too many moving parts all at once to really flow that well. Couple that with an incredibly mixed bag of songs. Some of them are great, while others I completely forget the existence of every time I'm not watching the movie. And you got something that doesn't quite hit the highs of the Disney Renaissance that it so desperately wants to stand alongside. It had all the right ingredients, it just made something a little too froggy for my tastes. Not the worst. I mean, the great characters do save a lot of the film, but I'd rather be watching these characters in a movie with a completely different story.
29.
I really wasn't expecting much from
Fox
the
and Hound.
but I was pleasantly surprised at how much I enjoyed it. It's just a very sweet little story of two friends torn apart
I like
by
Fox and
circumstances
Hound.
out of their control. And I was actually really invested in whether or not their friendship would be okay in the future. Though, perhaps not as much as I could have been. because the whole portion that showcases their friendship as kids is really rushed. It's like they meet each other, and then immediately after that, a song starts playing in the background that's all like, oh yeah, they're the best of friends. Like, what? They just met. What are you talking about? Ultimately, I was still invested in their friendship and the unfortunate turn it took, and I was really sad to see them torn apart. I was also sad to see that they devoted time to giving the fox a female love interest, who only showed up in the last 20 minutes of the movie and only exists to be the
Because the
that
dog's owner
was
does not
hard.
like the fox.
Another
That's why
thing
they
that I
split
found
up.
kind of weird at first was the fact that nobody dies in this movie. Like, this one hunting dog gets hit by a train,
What?
and he comes out of it with just a broken leg. It's kind of bizarre because he doesn't do anything in the narrative after this accident, so they totally
forgot
just
about
killed him
that.
off to raise some stakes. I was also sure that the villainous hunter would have died in some sort of accident while chasing the fox at the end. Or maybe the fox would die, or maybe his girlfriend would die. I don't know, there's a fucking bear attack, and everyone survives it somehow. Rather than dying for his hubris in chasing the fox, the hunter survives and decides to let the fox get away when the hound tries to protect him. It felt weird at first, but ultimately, I kind of appreciate the fact that everything worked out and we could just have this nice story where people grow and everyone ends up on good terms at the end. Yeah, you could definitely argue that some of the decisions this movie makes were a bit toothless, but I nonetheless thought they all amounted to a pretty nice movie.
Why you hunting
Nothing
this fox?
amazing,
I
but still
don't
pretty
know.
good,
I
and
ain't seen the movie in a while.
underrated.
And from that day
28.
forward, anytime a bunch of animals are together in one place, it's called a zoo.
Honestly, I kind of keep flip-flopping on how I feel about Zootopia. I was expecting my opinion of it to go down, because I feel like
She was originally going to die, like in the books, but the older animators thought it would be too dark. It's actually too dark. We seen like a couple of dark scenes with people dying. You know, like they said, oh, it's too dark. It's like, come on. Most of y'all movies are way dark. Come on, Disney. And it's actually drove a wedge between them and the younger animators. So the animators want to have him die in a dark scene, but the older animators are like, yeah, we can't do this, which led to Don, but the starring his own studio. Okay.
Race metaphor they were going for is just gonna age worse and worse as time goes on.
Oh, yeah.
And it takes up a lot of the movie, considering how almost every conversation any character has ties back to what species they are in some way.
Yeah, because let's be honest, Zootopia is more about race. That's all it is.
Which often feels forced and unnatural. Also, I still
If y'all like Zootopia, he's right about
the
this.
nudist colony scene. Why is this a thing? But on the other hand, Nick and Judy have really good chemistry, and I enjoy watching them untangle this mystery together. There's a ton of funny moments, and the Godfather and Breaking Bad references are cute. And yeah, overall, it's a solid time.
They thought dramatic tension would be lost if he lives. Don't know.
I just kind of think this movie bites off more than it can chew by trying to say something really important and ultimately making an ass out of itself when you think about the questionable allegories it's going for. But hey, the main characters are still incredibly likable, and I love following them around. Plus, it's really nice that they.
I get why they
I don't
did,
know,
but it's
I feel
like
that would only
I just
end
don't know what it
badly.
feels.
Nothing bad ever happens to the Kennedys.
Plus, there are plenty of powerful moments that legitimately do speak to the evils of prejudice and stereotyping. A rather uneven film, I suppose, but I still like it and think it's pretty fun in spite of its faults. Not a masterpiece.
Another twist villain in this movie.
Still
I
solid.
hated it.
Oh, Mary Land.
27.
I remember my first exposure
Robin
to
Hood.
Disney's Robin Hood. It was in the year of our Lord 2022. It was this year. When I watched Hour of Poops YTP masterpiece, Friars Rubbing Wood, Fall of Nottingham. It's legitimately one of the funniest and most well-edited YouTube poops I've ever seen. And I kind of assumed that when I got to the actual Robin Hood movie, it would be a disappointment in comparison. And yeah, obviously that's true. But I was actually surprised at how good of a movie it
I ain't seen
was.
Robin Hood,
It's got
like, in middle
incredibly
school as
endearing
well.
cast of characters, from the heroes to the villains. And I surprisingly really liked how laid back and chill it was. I assumed Robin Hood would have some sort of epic adventure to go on, but it's more about him scamming Prince John and trying to get back with his lady friend, and it's pretty fun stuff, not gonna lie. I think it would have been cooler if these characters were used for some sort of heist movie, in the vein of... Mail?
You got mail.
Whoa. In the vein of something like, say, Lupin III, and we do get kind of a heist at the end, but it's not really anything substantial or elaborate. Speaking of the ending, that shit is dumb. Everyone is suffering because of Prince John being a terrible, greedy king. So Robin Hood's clearly gonna unseat him somehow, right? No, actually. The real king comes back from the war off-screen in the last 3 minutes of the movie, and then he takes over again. Don't worry about it. Everything's fine now. Disney would never want its protagonists to overthrow
I think they
monarchy.
pulled
Don't be
it off
silly. Anyway,
tastefully
I also think the romance
enough.
in Maid Marian's character in general is kind of weak. Plus, yeah, the notorious recycled animation in this movie does really stick out.
He just
even though I do
refused to
understand that
touch the
it's
bad
necessary
guys
restrictions.
for some
It's
reason.
Weird, 'cause it
Oh,
almost
okay.
blends in pretty well, but your brain notices it more because they got the exact same voice actor as Baloo to voice Little John, who already looks exactly like Baloo. So since you're already thinking about how this bear is literally just Baloo again, you're more prone to notice that he dances in the exact same manner as Baloo.
Wow.
Why did they have to use the same actor?
They use
And
the
why
same
did they give
actor
the
to make
snake
the character
hypnosis eyes in the
act like
first scene?
Baloo
He doesn't
from
even
Jungle
use them
Book.
later
That's
in the movie.
hilarious.
It's just an awkwardly placed Jungle Book callback that reeks of recycled animation that they didn't need to recycle. So okay, yeah, there are
Really, Robin Hood is just a recycle. So Robin Hood is just ripping off the Jungle Book. That's hilarious. I never knew that.
weird little things, but honestly,
But so
this movie is
different.
just really fun overall. Fun characters, good slapstick, immaculate vibes. I really do like it. Even if the YouTube poop was better. I mean, it has Django Fett. That automatically makes it better. Come on.
Give it up for
26.
Snow White.
I was not expecting to enjoy
Snow White and the
Snow
Seven
White and the
Dwarfs.
Respect it, sure. I mean, how can you not respect the first feature-length animated film ever made? But on top
I
of
just
that,
don't know what they doing with the. I just don't know what they fucking doing with the live action Snow White. I know the live action Snow White's not gonna be good. It was the first film they made without any input from Walt. That could be why they took shortcuts. Makes sense.
I actually liked it. I can't believe it. It's just such a simple, charming film with stunning animation. Like, this shit came out in 1937, and it still looks this vibrant and alive almost a century
It's about to be his
later.
birthday soon.
I'm blown away by what they were able to accomplish back then. Just the way these characters move, the way their little noses pop up on the bed in that iconic shot. A lot of this movie's charm relies on the physical comedy with the dwarves working. And holy moly, it doesn't just work, it soars. The dwarves are definitely the best part of this. Not only are they well animated, but it's just so fun to watch their interactions and their mischief unfold. I enjoy the delightful, unabashed evilness of the queen as well. And like, yeah, Snow White is kind of a boring and very dated protag, but she's still a lovely and sweet person. Not one of the best Disney princesses, but not really a terrible one. Everyone loves to rag on this film's ending with the prince, and yeah, it's complete nonsense.
Yeah.
It could have worked if they established an actual romance between them earlier in the film before Snow White had to flee from the queen. But no. Actually, the entire ending is kind of weird, because the conflict really only gets started in the last 10 minutes. Like, everything from the evil queen visiting Snow White and poisoning her, to the happily ever after with the prince who kissed her while she was in a coma, is just crammed into those 10 minutes. That's kind of bizarre, especially considering how some of the sequences earlier in the movie, like Snow White cleaning the dwarves' house or the dwarves dancing with her, do go on a bit too long. Like, the runtime for this film feels like it perfectly suits the amount of story content on paper, but they didn't quite even out the amount of time each part of the story should get. But in spite of some parts feeling too slow, or too rushed, or too hilariously dated, it's still such a nice film. The songs are incredibly pleasant and evoke early musical theater really well. The animation is delightful and somewhat evocative of the Fleischer cartoons of that era. It's just overall still a good movie, and a must-watch for animation and Disney fans. Just to see how this whole Disney animation thing got rolling. Though I must say, I do have to question the queen's logic of making a potion that turns people ugly, and then using it on herself instead of Snow White, just so she has a disguise to feed Snow White a poison apple with. Why not just force her to drink the ugly potion and skip the poison apple step entirely? SMH, work smarter, not harder, queen.
I caught the ugly.
Wake him up like
25.
Sleeping Beauty is the best of the three classic Disney princess movies because it has Maleficent.
Yeah.
And Maleficent is cool as shit. Now that I've seen this movie, I finally get the hype around her. Yeah, she's not complex or layered or anything. She's pretty one-dimensional in her motivation.
You had to talk about which one is better. Is Sleeping
But I don't
Beauty
know. That's what's
because
so
of
cool
Maleficent.
about her. She's just this petty bad bitch who's evil and she loves it. And she delivers the rawest line in any Disney movie.
Now shall you deal with me, O prince, and all the powers portals of hell!
Like, hell yeah. Fuck him up. You're doing great, sweetie. The entire last 15 minutes of this movie are such an incredible and surprisingly tense spectacle, with such potent gothic imagery and amazing colors. So yeah, great villain. And also, the rest of it's not bad either. You can tell Disney learned from the mistakes of Snow White and Cinderella, and they're starting to make progress with the
They
sexual
never
elements.
get
Like, the prince and
away
princess
with the
here spend a
line
bit of time
nowadays.
together.
Yeah.
Plus, the prince has some personality and a couple funny lines. He acts a little bit creepy in the woods, but it's not too bad. Ultimately, he's a step up from the last two boring-ass princes.
Yeah.
Aurora's kind of boring, but honestly, she's
He is
not
a
really the
better
main character.
prince
It's
than the
more
other
about the
two.
three
The other
fairies
two was
raising
just
her,
bland,
who are
boring.
pretty
He's
charming
a
and
lot better
occasionally
than
funny
those
as well.
other two.
And so are the kings of the two kingdoms where the prince and princess are from. Honestly, I'm just surprised at how charming nearly all of the characters were. And not only that, but the backgrounds and shot compositions in this movie are just so richly cinematic. This movie has one of the best visual styles of any classic Disney film, and I really wanted to highlight how good it looks, especially for its time. I also appreciate the logic present in the plot. Going into this movie, I thought the whole Aurora pricking her finger on a spinning wheel thing was gonna be really dumb, because that's how it sounds. LMAO, why don't they just get rid of all the spinning wheels so that's not an option? Oh, that's actually what they did in the movie. And not only that, but they hide her away and change her name so Maleficent can't find her. Huh. It's nice to have a movie with smart characters for a change, even if the fairies kind of grab onto the idiot ball towards the end and leave her unattended. Like, I know she's sad, but you should probably stay with her to make sure she doesn't die, since Maleficent said she was gonna die on her 16th birthday, but okay. Not only that, but the pacing does kind of drag this one down a bit, since even though most of the characters are charming, their charm starts to wear thin when you realize there hasn't really been much forward momentum in the plot for the first 40 minutes or so. But ultimately, it's a very good movie. I liked it and stuff.
24.
We'll have a little nausea for a few hours, then it'll be fine.
The Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh is cute and charming and sweet, and I like it. Honestly, I don't really know what else to say about it. It's good, and I enjoyed it. It's not my favorite slice-of-life chill vibe movie out there. It's just kind of a nice little anthology film with a bunch of shorts about Winnie the Pooh and friends pasted together. Well, pasted together sounds a bit harsh, but I don't really know how else to describe it. Lovingly pasted together? I don't know, I guess that works. It's a perfectly pleasant and enjoyable
I'd be
time.
surprised at what he
Even
put
though I prefer the Disney movies with
Moana
more
in his
substance to them,
top
I can definitely appreciate
list. Like,
what
I
this
know
movie
he
is. Some of
might
my
have put
favorite scenes
Moana
include
like
the
top
Boozle song,
top
the part
20,
where Pooh
top
gets his
10.
fat ass stuck in Rabbit's house and Rabbit tries to decorate it for some reason. All the parts with Tigger, because Tigger's pretty epic. And I like the ending where the narrator says Christopher Robin has to go to school to learn about Brazil. That's real. That actually happens. Very good movie. Better than the 2011 one, because it actually felt like a complete package, and not like they took some of the stories out. Plus, the old voice actors generally sound better. So yeah, I like it.
We're going
23.
back in time. That's right. We're going back in time.
Meet the Robinsons is a flawed but fun little time travel movie.
I love
that
Meet the
already
Robinsons.
dedicated an entire video to praising.
It
If you
is
like to hear my thoughts on the
underrated.
film, you can check that out, since this video is extremely long and I have
They
pretty
literally
much
took 3 existing short films and put them together to meet a one movie per 4-year quote. Okay, I did not know that. So they said put 3 movies together. It's just to do one movie. It's just made just to fill quotas. Okay. Is it just for that one? I think it was Sleeping Beauty, or you talk about Winnie the Pooh.
said all I want to say on the movie there. It may not be as epic as Freebird's, but to be fair, nothing is. Except Bowler Hat Guy. He's the only true challenger to Freebird's throne.
Don't worry, don't
22.
lose your head.
Made a few bad decisions and ended up totaling my Scion TC at 100 miles an hour.
The Adventures of Ichabod and Mr. Toad. A movie
Never
consisting of 2
heard
short
about
films
this.
that couldn't be more different in terms of tone, plot, and presentation. Sandwiching these 2 together into one film was certainly an odd choice, and I'd be lying if I said I didn't enjoy one of these.
Oh, you meant Winnie the Pooh,
more than
okay.
the other. The Mr. Toad story is
Wait,
fine,
they put
it's
3
whatever. I just don't really
existing
care about the
shorts
characters
into
in this
one
Mr.
movie
Toad is
for
kind of
Winnie the
annoyingly
Pooh?
energetic,
That's
and his
weird.
friends are just kind of typical wet blankets there to reel him in. I kind of like how this took a turn into a courtroom comedy.
So they really didn't have not that much story for Winnie the Pooh, so they just put like 3 movies together.
The battle here is filled with such delightful comedic slapstick that it definitely made the ho-hum build-up worth it in the end.
The
It's a
last,
decent little
the
short.
last and
Now, the Headless
first
Horseman
package
story,
feature.
That's the real meat and potatoes of this compilation. First of all, it's narrated by Bing Crosby, who also performs the songs, and that's epic. I love me a good Bing Crosby song. That's some good shit. But also, I find the animation in this one a lot more expressive. It's some of my favorite in all of classic Disney. The shenanigans that Ichabod Crane and Beta Gaston get into trying to woo this lady are really funny. And of course, the crown jewel of this short is the actual Headless Horseman stuff. The song is catchy as hell, and it's honestly one of the few older Disney songs that hold up really well compared to their modern music. And the actual
The last and
confrontation with the
best
horseman is so
package
delicious
feature
and dark.
I meant. Okay.
Maybe a few parts of the beginning and the middle are paced a bit too slow, but for the most part, this short is great. It definitely makes up for the rather uneven Mr. Toad short, and makes this a pretty good package overall. I'd say it's worth checking out, especially compared to Fun and Fancy Free, which deserves to rot in a ditch somewhere.
21.
Okay, I think I've kinda sorta come around on Tarzan a little bit. It's a good movie, and I could look past a lot of my problems with it this time to really recognize all the good stuff. Like, the animation in this
I like
movie-
Tarzan, but I get why a lot of people hate Tarzan. I get why a lot of people hate Tarzan, but I like Tarzan, even though it has some problems.
It's insane. The action and swinging scenes are so well choreographed and well realized that it puts a lot of other Disney films to shame. Tarzan and Jane are very likable, and while Clayton isn't all that interesting, he still serves as an effective and threatening antagonist, with a death scene that I still can't believe they went for and got
Yeah,
away
he
with.
got hanged.
Shit. And I'm gonna be honest, I kinda sorta like the Phil Collins songs a lot more now. They're all bangers when you remove them from the context of the film and listen to them on their own. And even within the film, I think the Two Worlds, One Family and Son of Man sequences are great. The songs are an excellent fit for those scenes, and I love their role in the film as is. It's not unprecedented for an omniscient narrator to be singing a Disney song. Just look at something like Circle of Life or parts of Can You Feel the Love Tonight? Those songs work in the context of the musical film that is The Lion King. But I think the reason they work is because they stand alongside other musical numbers sung by the actual characters, which Tarzan, of course, does not have. Kala starts singing You'll Be in My Heart. And
Yeah, because I think the only reason why, because in this one, the characters don't really sing. You just hear the people who made the song sing. But in Lion King, the characters are singing.
Emotional musical number. But then after one verse, it just cuts to Phil Collins singing. Why? How is that more emotionally effective than the actual fucking character singing the song? Same goes for Strangers Like Me. It would have been so much more effective if Tarzan was the one singing it. That's what's so frustrating. The songs are great as written and still fit the story perfectly.
I get why that's why he didn't like it. Is that you got a song and you want the character to sing it, but you land the person who made the songs sing it.
They just didn't let the characters sing. And because of that, they feel awkward and samey because you're just hearing the same dude belt them out. They were so close to something amazing here, but they just blew it. There's also the scene where Tarzan gets dressed up in his drip and he says goodbye to Kala, and you hear an instrumental version of You'll Be in My Heart. Hell, Kala tells Tarzan he'll always be in her heart. Why the fuck was this not a reprise of You'll Be in My Heart? It would have been like one of the most emotionally effective scenes in any Disney movie. But instead, I forgot about it until this rewatch. God, this movie was so fucking close to being excellent.
Now I get it now, because I never get why a lot of people didn't like it. Now I get it. It's the song. It's the song itself. It's the music itself.
I just can't take it. Okay, I have other problems too. Like Rosie O'Donnell as Turk is still so annoying. Bro thinks she Timon, LMAO.
Yeah.
And I still really can't stand Kerchak suddenly turning around and saying Tarzan was his son the whole time.
Yeah, I did not like it either. How Kerchak's just like, you my son, even though he been an asshole to him since he was born. Since Kala found him.
On his deathbed. Based on everything we've seen in the film, he should be angrier and less accepting of Tarzan than ever.
Yeah, because Tarzan. None of this would not happen if Tarzan didn't brought Jane on there.
After Clayton literally
Yeah.
killed him and almost captured the others. Kerchak was a horrible quote-unquote father.
Yeah.
Rather than shoehorn in an emotional
A really bad father. I wish they could have built up Kerchak as a, like, he turned around, but Kerchak been an asshole to Tarzan since he was born, since his ex-wife found him. It's so dumb.
Come to terms with the his father isn't worth shit. To anyone who claims the emotional reconciliation between Mirabel and Alma was rushed and unrealistic, I seriously dare you to defend it in this movie.
Yeah, I'm not going to defend it right there.
Bad that it's not even comparable. Hell,
Bug Plug's reconciliation is so fucking stupid.
Reconciliation was better than this shit. So yeah.
That one was so fucking stupid. This one I get why a lot of people hate the reconciliation of Tarzan and Kerchak because it's so dumb.
A good movie. I can see the appeal of it, but I still think it falls short of the greatness of the rest of the Disney Renaissance. It's not Phil Collins' fault, but it is the fault of whoever decided his disembodied voice would convey the character's emotions better than the voices of the characters themselves.
Twin. We almost finished with this.
101 Dalmatians is a pretty good movie. Out of all the classic Disney...
Dang, I ain't seen 100 Dalmatians in a long time in the live action movies.
Common household pets like dogs and cats. I think this one is pretty handily the best one for a couple of reasons. First, the art style's incredible. God, I would love to live in this gorgeous, sketchy world. Plus, while the opening of this movie is a delightful, lighthearted meet-cute that's really fun to vibe to, the actual plot about the Dalmatians getting kidnapped and having to be rescued is super entertaining as well. Honestly, I would love it if someone made a stealth video game similar to that game Stray everyone was talking about a few months ago, where you play as one of these Dalmatians and you have to escape the watchful eye of Cruella. And yeah, honestly, I was kind of seeing how long I could go in this segment without talking about Cruella, which it turns out is not very long. And for good reason. She's easily the most entertaining part of the movie, and I love her delicious mallet.
Cruella, she's good. I haven't seen the Cruella movie, but I heard that it's not that good because they are trying to make Cruella be. They try to treat Cruella to have a reason to go to kill the dogs, but it makes no sense.
If anything, though, I kind of wish she was in the movie a lot more. She's shockingly underused given how entertaining she is and how iconic she came to be.
Yeah.
If only there was an entire movie dedicated to her or something. Too bad no such movie exists.
Yeah.
Anyway, while the beginning and ending in this movie are both pretty great, the middle's a bit eh.
That Cruella movie kind of fucked her character up.
Instead, focus on random other animals we've never met. And they're fine, but I just think their scenes go on a bit too long and take focus away from the main characters. Speaking of which, while the Dalmatians get to be plot relevant in the final act as they save their children, the human protagonists are sidelined really hard and don't get to do anything, which is
that was the big problem with it. It was how they did her character. I think the rest of the movie is fine, but it's just that when you just change her character to that, it makes no sense. Cause you know what Cruella is as a person. That she killing all 100 of these dogs so she can make clothing. Then you turn it into, okay, now she wants revenge on these dogs because they killed her mother. Even though it wasn't the dog's fault, it was the lady that killed her mother. So it's like, it makes no sense. But even though she did went after the lady who she knows that killed her mother anyway.
Lastly, there's this shot towards
Cause a lot of people like the interaction with Cruella and the villain in her movie. Cause it makes sense.
Very end with all the new puppies, and they say
People just hated how they just did her character. That's all it is.
100 of them. But fuck that shit, man. I actually counted, and there's way more than 100 puppies in this shot. I mean, I don't know exactly how many, because I kind of stopped counting when I hit 100. But trust me, there's more. 101 Dalmatians, my ass. I'm on to you, animators from the 1960s who put...
Wait, really? You said, and then she likes dogs and had one as a kid. That makes no sense.
Put too many puppies in the shot. Don't fuck with me.
I don't know why they decided to do a prequel movie for her.
Win the counting minigame in Mario Party, so I know what I'm talking about when I say that this is some bullshit. But yeah, other than that, really good movie.
Watching Mulan with my pudding.
Mulan is kind of
He put Mulan in 19. No, why you put Mulan in 19? I will put Mulan in my top 10, but I think he likes other movies better than Mulan. Mulan is like my top 10. I love Mulan. I watch it all the time. I hated the 2020 version. Fuck that movie and all its holes. But I love the original Mulan.
Disney equivalent of Finding Nemo for me. In the sense that I've always considered it to be good from a very young age until now. And my opinion on it has never really changed. Don't get me wrong, I do have a newfound appreciation for this movie after the live-action remake,
Yeah.
which is so awful and shitty and worthless
Yes,
that it makes this
so
film
shitty.
look like the greatest artistic achievement known to man by comparison. It's probably Disney's most effective feminist film to date, with all of Mulan's accomplishments and victories over the men around her feeling authentic and earned, rather than coming across as Disney cynically checking off demographic boxes and
Yeah.
shoving down your throat what an epic,
Yes.
flawless girl boss she's supposed to
I hate that. I hate how they took the premise of how Mulan worked her ass off to be proven to the guys. Even though the guys didn't know that she was a woman, she proved herself. But instead, this awful movie decided to say, "Oh, she's a strong, independent woman." Fuck that. Fuck all their hoes. Fuck you, Disney.
be. I love how this movie
It took something that was good and you fucked it.
is a compelling character who is flawed and clumsy at first, and builds her up as the hero who saves all of China
Yes.
after a ton of hard work and determination.
I will
to get
always
her.
hate that
I don't
movie.
know,
Fuck that
just
movie.
Seems like a much better message
Its
to leave little
assistance.
girls with than just be born already perfect and 100% capable of doing literally anything. Seriously, I cannot stress enough how Mulan 2020 is one of the worst films I've ever seen in my
Yes.
entire life. Anyway, yeah, the real Mulan movie is cool, but not everything about it works as well for me as the main character's journey does. The side characters aren't my favorites, the
Yeah.
villain's a bit weak, and Mushu can be kinda hit or miss with his jokes.
Do the Mushu!
I still find it weird that the movie just stops having songs halfway through. Like, I get why they want to establish a more serious tone after the village is burned down, but it's not like they maintain that more serious tone throughout the entire second half of the movie. So they could have easily had another song somewhere during the third act, or at least at the very end where everything's peaceful.
All the music in Mulan, I loved.
Again. The fact that the movie ends so abruptly with some random pop song playing over the credits has always struck me as really odd, especially when almost every other Renaissance film ended with a reprise of an earlier song, which made way more sense. But ultimately, this film's still really cool and definitely worth watching. Not an all-time favorite of mine, but still a really good one. Now that I've seen the original Fantasia,
I never seen Fantasia. Not either, both of them. Never seen both
safely
Fantasias.
say that Fantasia 2000s isn't really too far off from it quality-wise. Yeah, most of the celebrities really blow. In fact, it kind of feels like you're watching the Oscars at some points, which is a really bad sign. And not every short here is a winner, but for the most part, this really keeps the spirit of the original Fantasia alive. And I really wish they would make more of these. Hell, next year is the 100th anniversary of Walt Disney Animation Studios.
100
That would be
years.
a perfect time for a new Fantasia, but oh well. The two we got are really strong, with the highlights in this one definitely being Rhapsody in Blue and the ending sequence. I talked about all the shorts in the Disney 2000s ranking if you want to hear more about them all.
100 years
But
of Disney,
overall,
and
a
they've been
very nice
and they
film.
fucking
I wish it
Disney
could
as a
have been
whole.
bit longer, like at least 90 minutes rather than just 75. But I guess it's nice that nothing overstays its welcome here. Really, really good.
Thanks,
stuff.
Bob Iger.
I don't really know where
Peter
to start
Pan.
with Peter Pan. Do I discuss the big, glaring, horribly racist elephant in the
Oh,
movie
yeah, that's-
first? Or do I
yeah.
express the fact that with the huge exception of said horribly racist elephant, this is probably one of the most charming and timeless Disney films to
The
this day.
Donald Ark
Like,
segment
legit,
was
this
pretty good.
So close to being the best of the classic Disney films in my opinion. But man, its portrayal of Native Americans is just, well, I don't need to get into it. You know how Disney was back then. You
Yeah.
know it's terrible. And it really sucks, because that, coupled with a bit of sexism they added in for good measure, are really the only issues I have with this movie. Everything else is so charming and whimsical and filled with
I ain't
life,
seen Peter
evoking
Pan in
such
years.
powerful feelings of childlike wonder that suit the nature of the story incredibly well. It's fun to follow Peter Pan and see all the wacky shenanigans he gets into.
Peter Pan had a live action
Very
movie
likable
that
and
is so
enjoyable as
forgivable.
well. I
No
also
one
honestly
cared about
love
that
the
Peter
fact
Pan
that
movie.
Tinkerbell is legitimately evil in this movie, constantly trying to murder Wendy out of jealousy. This is the character that Disney has turned into one of their premier mascots.
Yeah.
And she's also a sociopath with a long history of violence. That's amazing. Alright, but enough about these chumps. Y'all know which characters make this movie.
Yeah.
Captain Hook and she
Captain Hook's
are
a good
so
villain.
delightful. Every scene with them is comedic gold, from the writing to the voice acting to the animation. I really can't get enough of them. And I
Captain Hook's a
totally get the
good
hype behind
villain,
Captain
comedy
Hook as a
villain, because
Such
that's
an
what he
extra
technically is, a
little
comedy
bitch.
villain.
Oh, don't worry. I promise not to lay a hands nor hook on Peter Pan, and I would never break that promise. So instead I just sent him a pipe bomb. Yay! Truly incredible. And the crocodile with a ticking alarm clock, like, dude, that's fun as shit. There's epic sword fights and a ton of jokes that still hold up really well to this day. And overall, there's just very little about this film that's boring. It's just boatloads of fun. It's just so unfortunate that parts of it have to be so awful and dated. But that's just how Disney was back then, I suppose. It'd be cool if they did a non-problematic remake of this.
Yeah.
Oh god, no, that's not what I meant. I meant an animated remake. Oh god, what the fuck? No!
Wait a minute. They're making a Peter Pan movie next year called Peter Pan Wendy. Really? I chose to believe that since Neverland is a child's fantasy, the Native Americans are represented what children think Native Americans are like, and still problematic though. Yeah.
How the fuck you know it was me?
Because it is you. You're just wearing different clothes.
I'm gonna be honest, Aladdin really loses a lot of its luster after you've seen Twisted 20 times. Like, by comparison, the only things the original movie has going for it are the music and animation. While Twisted is just straight up way funnier and more emotionally moving, and just generally has a lot more to say.
I never seen, I think he watched the, like, theater version of Aladdin. But I actually like the Aladdin movie, the animated movie. No, I think most people do not care about the live action Aladdin movie. No one care about that movie.
Original Aladdin is a sleazy, dishonest retelling, which makes me hate Aladdin even more for slandering Jafar this badly in his false account of the story's events. Anyway, I'll stop comparing this movie to the clearly superior version and just look at it as is. It's pretty great, and I don't really have a whole lot else to add that I didn't already say 3 years ago. Well, actually, I do have something new, and this might be insanely sacrilegious or something, but oh well, here goes. I didn't really find the genie that funny this time around.
Wait.
Now, Robin Williams' performance, that's top-notch. So energized and enjoyable, and an absolute blast to experience.
At least he wasn't Will Smith.
But while the performance is fun, a lot of the jokes and pop culture references didn't really do it for me. I was laughing a lot less at him than I was with other comic relief characters like Timon or Kronk. In fact,
I like
within
Kronk.
this
Kronk
movie,
is one of my
I think
favorites.
The funniest character is actually Iago. Not just Gilbert Gottfried's
Blasphemy.
excellent performance, but the writing of this Machiavellian little fuck of a parrot just took me out. It was so funny. Aside from that, yeah, I mean, you know what's good about Aladdin. Likeable characters, a fun villain, an excellent climax, amazing songs. I have an entire analysis video on why A Whole New World is the best song in the entire Disney canon, so you can check that out if you want to. Whenever Abu makes little noises that vaguely sound like human words, that's the most adorable thing in the whole world. And Ahmed was the best character. I'm so glad he was in the movie so much. So yeah, really great movie, but not quite funny enough to justify its super goofy tone. Especially in comparison to the next chronological
Hercules.
Mustard Clemens joint, which we'll get to later. Not an all-time favorite for me like it is for other people, but I still dig it.
I can do anything.
15.
I'm the devil. Did you forget that? I'm the devil, like from Bible.
Fantasia is really, 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 really good. I didn't
Like I
quite
said,
say
I've never
it's
seen
the
all of.
flawless
I've never
masterpiece a lot
seen
of
none of the
people thought it
Fantasia
was.
movies.
And that's because I didn't quite get as into some of the segments towards the middle. But the parts of this that really fucking
Girlfriend
I could do a
actually
ranking of all
sounds
the
like
segments
a
like I did for
parrot.
Fantasia 2000
That's why
in
it
my
works.
Disney 2000 video. But I honestly can't decide between some of these absolutely magnificent, breathtaking pieces of animation. So I'll just go in order real quick and give my thoughts on each segment. The opening was a great way to ease the audience into this concept, transitioning beautifully from striking silhouettes of the orchestra.
Is this the
members
original
to creative
Fantasia, and the other one that he
visualizations
put
of
a little bit
musical
low
instruments to the gorgeous
is
abstract
Fantasia
imagery we all
2000?
know and love Fantasia for. It's magnificent.
And that's what
As is
it
the
was.
next segment, featuring fish that reminded me of Lola Sharktail, as well as a gorgeous depiction of the changing seasons. It truly transfixed me. The Sorcerer's Apprentice is The Sorcerer's Apprentice. Very creative and charming and fun. A certified hood classic. And then the Dinosaur one. This one admittedly started to lose me a bit. While it had great visuals, I don't think the song they used was quite as gripping, and it didn't enhance the story that much. Plus, this one just went on way too long for my tastes. Still, it tells the story of Dinosaur better than Dinosaur did. The Centaur story has a bit of the same problem. It's not the most compelling marriage of music and visuals, and it also goes on a bit too long. But it was still fairly charming, and I liked the character designs and colors. Some of it felt a little too traditional Disney-ish and a bit out of place within a film of this magnitude, but it wasn't too bad. The one with the Hippo started off slow, but I really came to enjoy it by the time the Kremlings showed up. It was pretty delightful and made good use of the music. And like, do I even need to talk about Night on Bald Mountain and Ave Maria? Such striking imagery, such powerful animation, such a strong realization of the music's potential. Truly an amazing ending to an amazing visual concert. I also really loved the narrator and how refined and elegant he was. I don't know, there was something about his voice and the way he described the segments that just elevated the entire experience even further.
Yeah, learning version of Fantasia, the narrator Dean Taylor is actually dubbed by a famous voice actor. Okay, Count Dooku in the Clone Wars. Okay.
How do you do? My name is Deems Taylor.
This is okay.
Overall, yeah, I love this film. But I'll admit that I was only truly mesmerized by the beginning segments and the ending one. The two middle segments were just decent in my opinion, which sucks because they take up about 50 minutes of the 2-hour runtime. If it were cut down, I think I'd enjoy this a lot more, but I can still safely
The
say that
Centaur
parts of
stories
this
originally
were
had a
incredible
black
experience.
centaur
This might just be one
servant
of the
girl
most
that
timeless films I've
got
ever seen.
chopped
Based
out
on the
and
quality
later
of the animation
released.
and the way everything is presented, it is unfathomable to think that this movie
I seen that
it's genuinely impossible
centaur,
to
that black
tell.
centaur
The only
girl,
part where I ever
because
thought,
she looks
"Oh,
explicitly
this is a
racist.
movie," is when the narrator said the
How she
dinosaurs
looked
likely
like.
died out due to a dust bowl. Like, this movie predates the theory about the meteor wiping the dinosaurs out. Oh yeah, it's 82 years old. I forgore because it's so gorgeous and expressive and timeless. And
82
oh my
years
God,
old,
you
damn.
need to watch it. And Disney, could you make more of these, pretty please? You don't have to worry about the box office.
I don't know,
because
because how fucked Disney is now.
Come on, do it. It'll be really, really good, hopefully. Also, I went to college in Philadelphia, and I've been to the Academy of Music where they recorded the audio for this movie. So that's pretty cool.
Something burning?
14.
My spinach pus.
Oh yeah, it's all coming together. The
Emperor's New Groove, I
is
love
a
it.
comedic classic. I covered it all in its own dedicated video.
I love
called
Emperor's New
24 Frames
Groove.
a Minute. And then again in the Disney
I actually like the
So I'll keep this super brief. Fun ass movie with
cartoon
some of the best
version,
comic energy
the
out of
series
Disney's
version,
entire
because
catalog. Though
everything.
it falls just
I don't
short
know
of being
about
one of my all-time
the
favorites,
Kronk
since it
movie,
undercuts a
even
lot
though I
of
like
potentially
Kronk.
good emotional moments. And the lack of songs is a real shame, because they would have fit the tone very well, and it feels a bit
Cause
empty
they
without
did,
them.
cause they made a
But in addition to great
Kronk's
humor,
movie.
The characters are all fantastic, and Kuzco has the single best character arc out of
Yeah.
every Disney protagonist.
He does.
I'm not kidding. He essentially goes from a
He goes to like, cause he's an emperor. He's a teenage emperor who's a jackass to like an actual good person.
villain at the beginning of this movie to someone with genuine care for others by the end. It's absurd how good his arc is. And Yzma and Kronk are just so delightful. And I love Pacha and his family. Did you know his wife was voiced by Wendy Malick? I just
Really?
found that out on
Yeah, I
this
know that.
rewatch. Wild. Anyway, this movie is really, really great, and it's mind-blowing just how great it is when it's
I didn't know. I did not know she played the.
It's miraculously
I forgot
good,
the character
it's
name
super
from
funny, it's the
Owl
Emperor's
House.
New Groove. Boom, baby, indeed.
Hey there, welcome to the hair.
13.
Tangled is such an easy
I,
film to
I love
It's
Tangled.
one of the simplest Disney princess films, but I don't think
2010
that's a
classic.
detriment. It's a refreshing blast from the past, and really, the last true romance-centric Disney film we ever got. I do really miss them, but this was an amazing one to go out with. You really buy Rapunzel and Eugene's love for each other, especially in both
At
I See the Light and the Climax. Plus, they're
Clockdrone.
both great entertaining characters on their own.
Clockdrone.
Novel's a great
I
film,
think
too. Essentially a more
I can't.
actively evil version of
I
Lady
can't
Tremaine,
read.
with a bit of Frollo tossed
But thank
in
you for giving me her name.
or bad measure, I guess I should say. Maximus is incredible, obviously. The pub thugs are a ton of fun. It's funny. It's emotional. It's just all
Cauldron.
around a great time. Maybe takes a bit too long for the adventure to get started. I wish some of the songs were more memorable. And like, horrible as it is to say, I think I'd like it better if it was 2D animated. The animation hasn't aged all that poorly, but it's just not nearly as vibrant as, say, The Princess and the Frog that came out the year before. And I feel like Disney only really hit their stride with 3D animation with Frozen onward. Its environments and art design are still gorgeous to this day, whereas Tangled looks a little washed out in comparison. I don't know, this is basically the only Disney princess film that isn't really a looker animation-wise, outside of some beautiful sequences like I See the Light. Plus, I feel like this problem is more prominent because of how used to the art style of Tangled the series I got. I think that art style is just inherently nicer looking, even though it wasn't even
long E, like E.
But none of
Okay.
this really matters all that much. Tangled is still great and well worth your time. I know it's not a competition, but it makes Frozen look like a joke in comparison. LMAO, seriously. Why did people not latch onto this one as much when it's so much better? I don't get it.
It is much more better than Frozen.
No. You are not a gamer.
12.
It's honestly really
Wreck-It Ralph.
cool how good Wreck-It Ralph is. Like, we did it, gamers. Our favorite hobby and all these video game characters we grew up loving are now part
It
of
based
a
on
really
arcade
strong
games,
Disney
and it
that
was so
doesn't
successful.
rely on these cameos and references as the main appeal, since it just so happens to have a clever story, awesome world, and endearing characters. It's nice that Bowser got to appear in one of the best Disney movies, and also probably one of the best Illumination movies.
Thanks, Satan.
I mean, it's not exactly a high bar to clear, so I would hope that it's at least a 7 out of 10, but I digress. I really love Wreck-It Ralph.
I hope the
It's
Mario
amazing
movie
just how
be at
timeless
least
it still
7 out of
proves to
10.
be, even after
but
10
not
years.
bad.
It's like Disney's version of Toy Story.
I hope it's not
Developing
bad,
such
it's at
a
least
cool hidden
17.
world for video game characters to exist in, and putting a lot of thought into how these video game concepts translate into an excellent story. Everything flows really well, and you get invested in the emotions of these characters, not just the spectacle of a bunch of video game characters coming together. Imagine if this movie relied on just seeing popular brands.
You see, how sad is it that this could refer to like 5 other movies that also just came out in the past couple years? How sad is it that it's not even the only one made by Disney? How sad is that it's not the only one made by Disney that has Sonic the Hedgehog in it?
And shoving popular characters down your throat with no rhyme or reason, and not putting any thought into how the main characters should act.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would really suck, right? Good thing.
They actually made a real Fix It Felix Jr. arcade machine after this. Oh, really? I never been in arcades in a long time, so I don't really know.
That never happened to the
I did because how popular Wreck-It Ralph was. It made sense that they made an arcade game for it.
franchise. Anyway, yeah, great protagonists, strong emotion, the last good Disney villain who appears in the movie for longer than 10 minutes. It's a great time that continues to offer tons of replayability to this day. I hope they never make a sequel.
And they made one, and it was terrible. 11.
Out of all the old-ass Disney movies, the one that I consider to be the best by far is Alice in Wonderland.
Alice in Wonderland.
It brings the original story to life beautifully with unbridled creativity in the animation, and it's just a wonderfully fun and chaotic journey throughout. Alice is such
I
a
think
likable
most people would say
protagonist.
the live-action version is a lot better than this one, but I don't really know because I haven't seen. I've seen the live-action movie version, I haven't seen the cartoon version of it. I didn't even fully watch the Alice in Wonderland live-action version much.
The Cheshire Cat, the motherfucking Cheshire Cat. Come on, banger character. I might be biased because I played him in the stage version of this show during my youth, but I mean, he's awesome. What can I say? Yeah, the film is very episodic and not everything flows together that naturally, but like, that's kind of the point, right? It suits the literal dreamlike nature of the film to just have all this chaotic, seemingly disconnected stuff happen one after the other.
This movie is a
feels like
freaking
wild,
trip.
crazy dream,
Free trip,
the kind
man.
that you never want to wake up from because you just want to see what
So it's just so
nonsensical shit is
trippy.
gonna
That's
happen
all it
next.
is. Like
I
you,
guess some parts go on
like
pretty
you in
long,
drugs.
and conversely, there are some characters that I wanted to see even more of, like the Cheshire Cat. But those are my only real complaints. Overall, a banger film that you should definitely check out if you haven't already. I mean, the Walrus and the Carpenter segment alone is better than some entire Disney films. And that's just a side story in this magnificently charming, wacky, iconic, off-the-wall film.
I am an ace detective. A celebrity.
I always heard that The Great Mouse Detective was good, but damn, this good? Honestly, how come none of y'all never told me? I adore
I never
just
seen
about
The Great
everything
Mouse
in this film.
Detective.
The protagonist Basil is so much fun. He's incredibly smart and witty, but he's also kind of an asshole to this little girl he's helping, which is genuinely hilarious. The mouse world they showcase here is super creative and well developed. The songs are delightful, the pacing is great, the action is well choreographed, the story is pretty intriguing. I'm just stalling at this point. I need to talk about the greatest thing about this movie already, and that's Ratigan. I cannot stress enough how this motherfucker is one of the greatest Disney villains of all time. voiced to perfection by Vincent Price, while also toting incredibly expressive animation and equally impeccable writing. This sleazy gay rat dude is one of the most delightful creations to ever come out of the studio. He's so extra that not only did he set up the most delightfully excessive death trap ever conceived for Basil, but he set it up to only activate when a record is done playing. And what song is playing on that record, you may ask? It's a
Best version of
personalized
Sherlock
diss
Holmes
track
ever.
that he recorded for Basil, intended to be the last thing Basil hears before his death. That's genuinely one of the funniest things any Disney villain has ever done. I just can't get enough of this dude. I was already sold on him before the ending climax, but then that final battle at the clock tower went so unnecessarily hard, and it's like, damn, how is no one talking about this movie? It's just tremendously entertaining from beginning to end. There was never a dull moment.
I think it's because a lot of people just never seen this movie. I think that's what it is. Like, I've never seen this movie.
74-minute runtime. Musker and Clements really came out swinging in their directorial debut, illustrating yet another reason why they're the best storytellers to ever come out of Walt Disney Animation Studios. I love this movie. It's easily the best pre-Renaissance Disney film, and you really owe it to yourself to check it out if you haven't already.
He fucked a fish.
Number 9.
He wanted to fuck a fish.
The Little Mermaid is my second favorite Disney movie where the best character in it is a talking crab.
Yeah.
It's crazy how this is like the most influential
And American
film in the entire Disney
Tale
catalog, outside of obviously
Soul
Snow White.
is of
Like,
the
it's a little bit
thunder.
quaint in comparison to how grand and mature and epic
I love
a lot
Little
of
Mermaid.
Disney
Grew up with Little
Renaissance films are,
Mermaid.
but it's also important to
I
remember
don't
that we
get
wouldn't
what
have
Disney
this
is
film without
doing with the live action version of Little Mermaid.
success.
I hope the Little Mermaid movie be good, but I don't know because most of their live action movies are trash. And I don't know what they're doing with Little Mermaid.
Of the Little Mermaid that could. It was such a bold choice at the time to essentially make an animated Broadway musical, and yet now that's the exact.
I seen Little Mermaid the movies, all maybe not all. Done. I seen the origin of. I seen the origin of Little Mermaid when how Neptune is so. It's such an asshole to his kids and everything. Not an asshole, but so protective. But he's so protective to Ariel and knowing why he hates humans. And I've never seen the daughter version. The CGI in the trailer looks pretty good though.
Right out of the gate. When you listen to Part of Your World, you can feel the culmination of decades of musical theater that Alan Menken and Howard Ashman were inspired by and pulled from, resulting in a moment more gorgeous and show-stopping than nearly everything that came before it in previous Disney.
I just feel like the live action version gonna fuck up everything. It's not even the actor's fault.
Villain song, Under the Sea is a bop that did not need to go so hard, considering how little it actually affects the story. Kiss the Girl is absolutely stellar, not only musically, but visually. That one shot where the camera splashes out of the water and slowly steadies itself, like, so good! It's just such an impeccable, well-realized, well-paced, well-directed film. One that still manages to hold up and remains consistently entertaining throughout its entire runtime. In the Renaissance ranking video, I already offered my defenses of the perceived story and character issues a lot of people have with this film, so check that out if you want to hear more about them. But we got a lot more films to get to, so I won't reiterate them here. Bottom line is, this film's amazing, and I don't think I'll ever get tired of it. Anyway,
stole most of his thunder. Okay.
Under the Sea next year. Thanks, Disney.
Oh, American Tail stole most of his thunder. Okay.
I might just be the biggest defender of this movie out there, but that's okay. I'll stand alone in my.
I just never seen Atlantis, The Lost Empire. Just never seen it.
Artistic achievements. It's just.
Even though a lot of people say Atlantis is way better than Treasure Planet, I think it is. I just never seen it.
Avant-garde in their execution while also suiting the narrative. This is just a really, really strong, pulpy adventure film, brought to life with gorgeous, unique, expressive animation. I love how diverse the eccentric supporting cast is, not just in terms of their ethnicities, but their ages and personalities and aspirations. They actually take time for character work in this movie, and flesh these peeps out and explain how they all got here, and it's just so cool. It makes the universe of this film feel lived in and authentic. Plus, the villain has realistic motivations for why he's such an asshole. Yeah, it boils down to him just doing it for money, but like...
Mercenary. I prefer the term adventure capitalist. Think about it. If you gave back every stolen artifact from a museum, you'd be left with an empty building.
Damn, okay Disney, I see you. Keep in mind that this movie came out in 2001, so corporate Disney wasn't even doing this to get woke points. The creative team behind this movie just wanted to play it real with this guy, and give him the sort of nefarious...
Cause now it's just mainly woke points.
Also keep in mind that they're the same creative team behind Beauty and the Beast and Hunchback. Two movies that also had strikingly realistic...
I had never seen Hunchback and Notre Dame. Notre Dame. I heard some people say Notre Dame, but I think it's Notre Dame. Never seen that movie, even though a lot of people really love that movie. Can we start a thing to have Kite replace Pocahontas on the official Disney princess list? She deserves it. Yeah. I've never seen this movie, so you might be right that you can't replace Pocahontas.
Lilo and Stitch is kind of miraculously good. Like,
I love Lilo and Stitch. Grew up with this movie.
Would show all the other Disney characters being annoyed by Stitch, and it just screams, "Uh-oh, this ain't your granddad's Disney film. This one's gonna be way naughtier and edgier and cooler and all that rad shiz." Nowadays, watching these official crossover teaser trailers is kind of cool, but as a way to market a movie, I was too young to remember these ads, but I feel like even Babby me would have thought these were lame and trying too hard. The promotional materials didn't make this look great.
Yeah, I remember that when he had the shield, then he was driving next to them, and she liked him. That's hilarious. I remember that. It always shows that.
What the fuck? I can't believe just how emotionally effective this movie is. Like, you'd think the alien stuff would be a huge detriment and detract from the touching story about two sisters trying to cope with the loss of their parents and having no one but each other. But no, the alien stuff surprisingly fits in really well. They subtly show you the parallels between Lilo and Stitch, like how they both bite someone, but then ask
He said, dang, Jasmine ain't loyal.
Are chaotic and out of control, and yet they understand each other. When Lilo asks Stitch if he also lost family since she hears him cry at night, and that she knows that's why he acts out and wrecks things. Like, dude, that's such a profound understanding for such a young character to come to, and yet it feels authentic.
I don't know, cause Stitch was made from that guy. So Stitch really don't have a family.
Are filled with such raw emotion, and they're so heartwarming yet heartbreaking at the same time. Throw this one on the pile of movies I want to make a full video on as well. There's just so much to say about Lilo and Stitch and what makes it so magnificent. It's fun.
Then Lilo Stitch had like a second movie.
It's got great characters. It's easily one of Disney's.
It had a second movie. I think it had two movies or another movie, then the TV series.
The Hunchback of Notre Dame remains as flawed as ever on rewatch.
Notre Dame.
It's a disaster with so much of the slapstick and goofy sound.
I said I've never seen this movie. I know a lot of people loved it.
Seems to be the filmmaker's way of compensating for how rich and adult other parts of the film are. It's a little underwhelming coming back to this film after watching studios like Ghibli make films.
Oh, they had 3 sequels. Okay.
Cutesy reputation explicitly cater to teens and adults while leaving younger children in the dust entirely. It's evident that Disney never really had the courage to lean as far into the adult audience as they wanted to with this film. Because how could they make something that wasn't marketable to young kids?
Yeah.
Nah, we gotta add painfully unfunny jokes for the George Costanza gargoyle to say, and this horrible, cringe, tone-killing song with some of the worst lyrics ever that isn't even catchy. Fucking hell, this movie tries my patience so much. And yet, for all of its flaws and cringeworthy elements, it's incredibly evident watching it that no Disney movie has ever before or will ever again go as hard as this one. You really get the sense that the
Hunchback has a lot of SpongeBob voice actors. It's a bit jarring.
Bells of Notre Dame, which I believe to be the best opening to a Disney film, even outdoing Circle of Life, to Hellfire, which easily remains my pick for the greatest villain song in all of fiction, to the moment Quasimodo rescues Esmeralda and declares sanctuary. The glorious chanting, the sweeping camera angles, the deep colors, the incredible melding of 2D and 3D animation. I can't believe this is real. How did they make something so profound and mature and striking, with this much to say about the kind of evil that legitimately exists in the real world, all under the restrictive umbrella of corporate Disney? This is the kind of movie I can never see the studio making again, for obvious reasons. But I'm so glad it exists. The music is stellar, mostly. The animation is insane. The protagonists are incredibly sympathetic. Frollo stands as the most evil character in the entire Disney canon by a landslide, putting most other Disney villains to shame. It's a movie that just has to be seen to be believed. Not just in the sense of, how did they get away with this, but also, how is this so phenomenal? Is it perfect? Obviously not, and I do think the musical adaptation is a technically better and more consistent piece of art. But man, there's some aspects of this original movie that just can't be topped. I can stomach its flaws because even in spite of those, it still remains one of Disney's greatest artistic achievements. But what the f*** is going on with the capitalization on the Disney Plus subtitles? My girlfriend and I tried watching this movie there, and it's insane how bad a job the subtitle department did. There's so many words that shouldn't be capitalized but are, and so many names that should be capitalized but aren't. None of the other Disney movies we watched on Disney Plus had this problem, so seriously, what the f*** happened here? Oh well, good ass movie.
So here's this
Number
giant
5.
enemy crab.
Now, it actually took me a few days of self-reflection before I could write this part, but now I'm finally ready to say that I don't think Moana is quite my favorite Disney movie.
I'm surprised you put Moana 5, even though his character is from Moana.
Watching it in quick succession to some of the Disney Renaissance movies made me realize that this is a pretty standard one in terms of its story and world, which is ordinarily what I like about it in comparison to some of the overly complex 2010s Disney movies that think they're smarter than they are. By the standards of 2010s Disney, it's a miraculous throwback. But when weighed against Disney's entire output, I don't think I can quite say this is my absolute favorite. Some of the jokes just aren't funny. Some of the attempts to be meta aren't Frozen levels of lame, but are still kinda lame. Maui coming back for no on-screen reason after the typical cliche third act breakup is kinda dumb, even if said third act breakup wasn't the worst use of this trope in the world. Him getting his hook back after giving one of the most pitiful apologies ever is a little silly. I don't know, I guess that's all my bad stuff. I still adore this movie in spite of its problems. It's tremendously catchy and memorable songs, it's genuinely great action scenes, it's gorgeous visuals. Plus, if I'm being honest, Moana is not only my favorite Disney princess, but my favorite Disney protagonist. I know I said Kuzco is the protagonist with the best arc, but Moana is nonetheless my favorite. Witty, entertaining, likable, with a legitimately amazing journey of self-discovery along the way. The fact that she starts out so incapable at sailing before growing into a legitimate, wayfinding hero who wins the day through her unwavering compassion, man, is it so good. And Maui's arc and growth throughout the story are so strong, and the chicken is funny, and also the crab is pretty epic. I don't know if you could tell, but I actually really like the crab in this movie. I may or may not have made the crab my entire personality and then done a feature-length analysis video on him. You honestly really gotta respect Musker and Clements for saying, oh, our movie doesn't have a traditional villain? F*** it, we're putting a villain song in anyway. Great stuff. I really love Moana, and I don't think that's ever gonna change. Sure, it's a bit standard and a bit flawed, but any issues I have with it are absolutely decimated by its strengths. Like, you guys don't understand, I really fucking love the crab in this movie.
What the hell is wrong with you?
Number 4.
We're a family.
Hey guys, I know this might sound crazy, but I think Encanto might be a good movie. You know how I just said I took a ton of self-reflection before I could write the Moana part? The same applies to this movie.
I've never seen this
Dig
movie.
down deep and ask myself if I could admit this, given how much I've propped Moana up as modern Disney's greatest achievement to date. But I've come to a new conclusion, and I really can't believe I'm saying this, but Encanto is better. You'd think after an
I've never
entire
seen
year of this
Encanto.
movie, the hype would wear down and I consider it more flawed than I previously did. But no, honestly, I just love this movie more and more the more times I watch it. Yes, it is indeed flawed. I constantly think about tweeting, if Encanto's so good, why is Bruno's rap part so bad? Before stopping myself from tweeting that, since some people might not think it's a joke and that I don't like the movie. But seriously though, not only is Bruno's rap part bad, but like, why does nobody apologize to him? Why the fuck did Dolores not say anything about him still being there? And also, maybe some of the characters could be better fleshed out. Like, you could explore Isabella more, or have more negative interactions between Alma and Mirabel to strengthen the main conflict of the story. I don't know, parts of it could be better, sure. But honestly, I don't even care. I don't care. This movie is just so legitimately excellent in so many ways. The songs are consistently fantastic, except for the opening one. I don't really care for that one that much still. But the others are so good. Not just incredibly catchy and effective musically, but they advance the story and characters, and they easily have the most creative presentation out of any of the 3D Disney musicals. Moana started to get there with You're Welcome and Shiny, before Encanto ran
Being
wild
the
with the
best
creativity, how it
non-research
animated
Disney
and
film
presented
is
its
quite
songs.
the
Absolutely
achievement.
incredible. It's also consistently funny with a ton of memorable characters, both inside the family and out. I swear to God, Fish Lady has more personality than every single character in Pocahontas. And the way the story is more so an excuse for character revelation, for Mirabel to discover the cracks in her family and how to fix them. To me, that's so much more interesting than having her go on some physical grand journey. It's strikingly different for a Disney film, but it makes for such an effective and nuanced conflict. Alma isn't some nefarious villain, but she is legitimately harmful to her family's well-being, and the film acknowledges that. Her reconciliation with Mirabel is so powerful, and one of my favorite scenes in any Disney film. Again, I have an analysis video on why it works, and why the reconciliation in Raya doesn't at all. Speaking of which, I have spoken in the past on wanting to make a ton of analysis videos on this film, or perhaps just making one big one in the same vein as my Ratatouille video. However, I kinda lost motivation for it in the wake of corporate Disney's blatant homophobia in early 2022. Much like Dana Terrace said in a tweet, I wasn't really in the mood to make Disney look good. Plus, the way the
Don't ever make Disney look good. Disney's the piece of shit company that don't deserve anything.
But I think I'm almost ready to revisit the idea of giving this movie and its beautiful themes, messages,
Y'all also
and
seriously
characters
botched
the
2 of
long-ass
its
analysis phase
best
they
songs.
deserve. I don't know, it's still
People
my
don't
take
even
on
care
it.
about the Oscars like that no more. Cause the Oscars are just filled with just actors that are not that big that they were back in the day.
If you want to watch those videos. Bottom line is, my third eye is opened, and I accept how thoroughly this movie slaps. Feel free to call it mid-Canto all you want, but my opinion will not change. This is genuinely the best Disney film since the Disney Renaissance, and I hope we get more like it in the future. So clearly this dethroned Moana as my new favorite Disney film, right? Nah, actually, my number 3 pick did it. The top 2 movies are the ones I critically consider to be the best Disney films, but number 3 is my all-time personal favorite. Let's get into it.
Number 3.
I will not apologize for how
Hercules.
high I have ranked Hercules.
I love
I
Hercules.
don't think of any logical justifications for ranking it above.
I grew up with Hercules. I know a lot of people would put Hercules. People would put Hercules pretty low, but I would put Hercules up there because I grew up with it. It is nostalgia, but I actually like Hercules. It's not the actual story of Hercules, like in the mythology. I like Hades. I like Hades as a villain in this.
This is my list, and I say Hercules is too consistently fun the whole way through for any plot holes to dampen my enjoyment of it. The animation style brought to us by Gerald Scarfe is so unique and expressive, and it really sticks out compared to other Disney movies. The voice cast is uniformly excellent across the board, one of the most solid in Disney history. Danny DeVito is utilized to his fullest potential, Susan Egan is so delightfully snarky, and they even got actual Satan to play Hades. Look, Disney, all I'm saying is, if you ever want to recast James Woods when you bring Hades back for Kingdom Hearts 7 billion over -0, final ending mix 69.420, all you have to do is cast Bob Odenkirk. Like, seriously, it's a match made in heaven. Or hell, I guess.
Paging Dr. Phil! My daddy's a drug dealer, and my mom.
And people always get the misconception of Hades. If you actually read the mythology, he's not. He's really neutral. In the movies, I don't know why in movies and a lot of franchises they always make Hades act like a villain, because I think it's pretty easy to see Hades as a villain. But we ought to have to be perfectly clear. Both his brothers are even worse than he is in the mythology.
Turned him in. I'm like a god in human
But I still like Hades in this in the Hercules movie.
The music. Oh my god, the music. Imagine coming out of this movie not thinking the songs are top tier. Come on. Go the Distance, Zero to Hero, I Won't Say I'm in Love, the Danny DeVito song. Everything in this movie's a bop, and I have no idea how anyone could think otherwise. I feel like not enough people give this movie credit for its overall direction, and all the little details that are added in as both jokes and compliments to both the story and characters. Like when Meg gets pricked by a statue of Cupid's arrow when on a date with Hercules. Or when Hades visits her by melting and splitting apart a statue of two lovers. And that Oedipus joke, woof, that slays me every time. Plus, I think the anachronistic jokes really enhance the screwball comedy at play here. It's like Musker and Clemens took the genie's modern
They
references to
mostly
pop culture jokes and said,
put
"Why
it
don't
so
you
low
apply that
because
to
of the
entire
mythology is
universe of the
inaccurate
film?"
and the tone
Weirdly
is
enough, it
inconsistent.
works.
It makes
The movie
sense.
tone complements the witty voice acting
Because
and the
that's what I saw. I
slightly
think a lot of people put so low because it's like the mythology, because it's not accurate to the mythology. Most Disney movies are not even accurate to the source material. Everybody knows it. Because they took things from books and mythologies and put it as their own, but make it for kids.
This might be another one to throw on the pile of potential subjects of a full video later in the future. Because I really could go on about how
Yeah, the tone sometimes is inconsistent. I agree with you with that. But I still like Hercules.
But I still think it never really loses sight of its emotional core, which is the most important thing at the end of the day. Like, as dumb as I think Hercules' contribution to the final fight against the Titans is,
yeah,
I don't really care, because I still find
myself... I kind of hate how they did the Titans in here, because, like, yeah, I sure know the mythology, the Titans supposed to be kind of look powerful, not dumbasses.
In the end. I'm sorry, I adore this film, and I'm never gonna stop adoring it. It's just godlike.
Alex the Lion,
Two.
What the hell are you doing in my car?
I don't even know where to
Lion
start,
King.
Man. The Lion King.
Well, so he put on one Beauty and the Beast. I love Lion King and Beauty and the Beast. I would put Beauty and the Beast better than Lion King. I know a lot of people would put Lion King up than Beauty and the Beast, but I just rewatched Beauty and the Beast, and I really love Beauty and the Beast.
Is just miraculously good. They nailed everything here. Gorgeous animation that I'd argue is noticeably better and more breathtaking than the rest of the already incredibly animated.
The depth scene of Mufasa is really good. It really hits you hard too.
Insanely well. Some of the most lovable and iconic characters in the entire Disney pantheon. Some of the greatest songs that Disney has ever put out. The single greatest musical score of the entire studio. And maybe my favorite film score of all.
It's just a shame that the live action version fucked all this up like Mulan did.
I don't think I've ever seen an animated movie as confident in what it is as this one. Right from the iconic first shot of the sun all the way to the dramatic thud of the title drop, you already get the sense from this opening alone that this is one of the great defining pieces of art to come out of the medium of animation. If you were recommending Disney movies to someone who's inexplicably never seen any, I almost wouldn't recommend this as their first one, because every subsequent Disney movie they watch afterwards is just gonna feel lame by comparison.
Yeah.
And this was the film that the artists working on didn't have confidence in. They thought Pocahontas was gonna be the timeless, revered work of art.
Also, they thought Pocahontas would be better than Lion King, but Lion King was way better than Pocahontas.
Between these two movies. What a sick joke. If this is where Disney animation was headed, county out. There's so many more things I could talk about, like how Scar is one of the great film villains. Not only because he actually accomplishes his plan, but because he has a banger villain song, and every line delivery and facial expression of his just oozes personality. Or I could talk about how Rafiki has echoes of Yoda in the way he brilliantly uses silliness to teach profound, life-altering lessons. Or how Timon has all the makings of a Tumblr sexy man, and I'm surprised that hasn't happened already. Like, he would seriously be a perfect fit for that. But you either know all that already,
and I love the
or
message about facing your past and taking responsibility for your mistakes. Yeah.
This movie is magnificent, and undeniably the magnum opus of Walt Disney Animation Studios. Easily their most significant and revered work in the entire
How many movies did Lion King had? I think like 2 or 3. Then they had a little kid cartoon version. Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of inevitable.
Yeah.
In my mind, nothing will ever unseat Beauty and the Beast as the absolute peak of the
I just rewatched Beauty and the Beast like a couple of days ago.
about Disney films, wrapped up in
I said one of my favorite musics
perfect
is that
package. I adore everything
it has
about
to be
it.
Gaston's. I don't know why I like
In fact,
Gaston's
I'd like to take that a step further and talk
song.
about the Stockholm Syndrome bullshit that everybody claims is in this movie. Oh, it's terrible that she falls in love with her captor. Did you guys miss the part where she left the castle in the middle?
Yeah.
Nobody in this movie was taking this whole Belle being a prisoner thing seriously.
Yeah.
Not the Beast, not the servants, not even her. She wasn't locked up. No one was.
Yeah, even he said like you. Even he said you not. Well, he said. Well, he did say that live her forever, but he never like put her in there as a prisoner. Put her there as like a prisoner. She could leave anytime she wanted, if she wanted to. Well, he did say stay there forever, but like he did save her.
She described staying at the castle as a promise she made rather than an imprisonment sentence.
Yeah.
And when the Beast saves her life from the wolf,
Did she kind of promise him? Did she kind of promise the Beast that because she had to make a equivalent exchange for her father because her father was getting sick and everything.
wolves and then collapses, she could have left him to die and continued
Yeah.
escaping. But no, she willingly chose to go back in order to save his life because he saved hers, which is what causes them to grow to care for each other, which eventually results in him officially giving her his blessing to leave.
Yes.
What about this are you not getting?
I think people just want to. I think some people just want to complain about she's a captive, even though y'all seen the movie, y'all know the message, but y'all ignoring it. I'm like, come on.
Go pick on something actually problematic like Pocahontas.
Yeah, Pocahontas. Go look at a problem with Pocahontas. Pocahontas had a lot of problems, and it has merits. Go to that movie. That movie do deserve its critiques, except for Beauty and the Beast.
Honest, instead of trying to contort this
The Lion
movie
King
story to
had
fit your
2 cartoons, the Kitty one that I actually like, and a Timon and Pumbaa one in the 90s that also pretty good. I saw the Timon and Pumbaa one. I think I saw the other one, the other movie where I think Simba had a daughter. I never seen the Little Kitty one.
poorly thought out BuzzFeed clickbait critiques. Anyway, yeah, I adore just about everything in this movie. The story is incredibly well paced and beautiful. The animation is so crisp and vibrant and gorgeous. The characters are lovable and endearing, including the greatest bisexual sentient candle ever included in a film. Plus, this movie has Gaston, who's all kinds of epic. I love how he starts out as a haha goofy joke villain you enjoy laughing at, until you realize as the movie goes on that, wait, someone this boneheaded and backwards thinking having influence over an entire town is actually a really scary and menacing concept. Just a perfect villain for this story.
Yeah.
And then there's the songs, which are genuinely perfect. Not a single bad track.
No, were bad.
Belle is the sort of incredible opening number that every music
I never hated one of their musics. I like every single one of them.
should aspire towards. Establishing the setting, the main character, and the villain all in one gorgeous 5-minute song. Gaston is an absolutely delightful comedic villain song. Be Our Guest is insanely energetic and fun. The mob song is really chilling and sad, especially when you consider the world Howard Ashman was living in when he wrote it. And then there's the title song, which I don't think any Disney film has topped in terms of sheer beauty. It's not my favorite Disney song, but I think it might be the most magical, breathtaking moment in any of their films. From the vocals, to that camera pan, to the angels looking down from all high. Like I said before, whenever I watch this scene, I sort of forget I'm watching a movie. I don't know, man. I just love Beauty and the Beast with all my heart, and that's never gonna
I think Beauty and the Beast had a
It always
sequel.
felt special to me from a very young age. But even if I were to remove nostalgia from the equation entirely, it still holds up as the single greatest achievement of Walt Disney Animation Studios. So that's the ranking. And overall, I had a pretty good time.
What happened to Disney now? What happened to y'all? Y'all forgot y'all magic. Now y'all just a bunch of pandering dumbasses.
Yeah, the doesn't have the most amazing track record on average, but their lows aren't the lowest things in the world, and their highs are absolutely magnificent. They reminded me why exactly I loved the studio for so much of my life, and why I'll continue to love it in spite of everything. As much as I despise Disney, the corporation, and how
it's just a terrible corporation. Listen, I will always love their movies, but what the fuck they doing? I grew up with Disney. I grew up with Nickelodeon, Cartoon Network. I grew up with 3 of these companies. But Disney, I don't know which one is kind of the worst, Nickelodeon or Nickelodeon Disney. I think Disney because like it has way bigger influence than Nickelodeon does. And Disney is so much of a corporate thing that it's just forgot where it's from. It has 2 sequels, the Christmas one and the one that sucks.
I'll always admire Disney, the animation studio. The place where artists go to tell incredible stories that'll stand the test of time and be remembered for generations.
I do not like current Disney. Current Disney sucks, but original, like before all the current shit, Disney was one of my favorite companies. No, I think Cartoon Network was one of my favorite companies, then Disney, then Nickelodeon.
Their movies meant the world to me growing up.
It's just a shame that 3 of these companies are not doing much, and they just lost some of their purposes.
So even as I grow older, especially since despite having their fair share of misses, modern Disney is still capable of putting out hits that'll likely go on to be as timeless as the masterpieces of their past.
They got some good animation movies, current animation movies. All their live action movies just sucks.
So yeah, in spite of everything, in spite of all the cynicism I feel towards their corporate overlords that operate under a similar name, and even in spite of all the terrible movies this ranking forced me to
really bad movies.
I will always love Walt Disney Animation Studios. Their highs really are the stuff dreams are made of. And I want to do more than just talk about their highest achievements. I want to immortalize and pay tribute to what I consider to be their finest film to date. So I'm gonna pull a Nintendo Direct and leave you all off with one last announcement. Something I've been working on for over a year now with the help of dozens of amazingly talented artists. Let me just ask you guys one question. You didn't think I was gonna stop at Shiny Reanimated, did you?
We invite you to relax. Let us pull up a chair as the dining room proudly presents.
Black Cauldron coming December 2022. Well, I hope y'all enjoyed this video because this was so fucking long. I think mine was like more like 40 more minutes than his original one. Cause I do pause it and kind of talk about some of the movies that I haven't seen, movies I have seen, the ones that are really bad. And I want to thank you for coming in here and talking to me about some of these movies as well too. But I'm gonna end it here. I hope y'all enjoyed this channel. Subscribe to my channel. If you want to go and watch my gameplay channel is Twitch. So you want to go watch me play Marvel Spider-Man, you can go there. I hope y'all enjoyed this reaction video as well. And I'll see you guys later and goodbye.